All right, here goes nothing. Let me just make sure my connection gets up. I've got audio, hopefully, if you guys could attest to that. I think my internet's good for my VPN, so I feel like everything should work perfectly today. We'll see if that's true. Very excited to be back. It's been a while. I think Thursday was my last stream, so hopefully, I'm sorry, Wednesday. Thursday was Turkey Day. So hopefully, yeah, audio's good, sweet. So hopefully it all goes well, and I'm excited to be here. It's kind of weird being gone for so long. Lots going on. So Tesla, in case you haven't noticed, FSD 13's been rolling out. We've got a bunch of analyst upgrades. It's amazing. I can't wait to get it myself. Mara just did another $700 million, or announced that they're doing another $700 million convertible bond offering, plus another 150, I think, potential on there. Here's the amazing part. Everybody historically has been like, oh, hey, but what happens when they have to pay back the convertible bonds, or what happens with it? Well, part of what they're doing is buying more Bitcoin and then paying off the older convertible bonds. So I think that's probably what happens. But that looks interesting. On top of that, we have Michael Saylor talking about how our MicroStrategy tracker needs to have some more green dots on it, which means that we either had a purchase over the weekend or we're going to be having one right now. The biddy lacks vigor. It'll be fine. Biddy will be fine, Silas. Nice seeing you here, though, by the way. It seems like it's been a while. Otherwise, the chat's been too busy and I've been missing you. But it's nice having you here. Black Friday. It looks like we're probably breaking records on Black Friday. That's going to be good with seasonality. Tom Lee was talking about seasonality with FS Insights. You guys should definitely subscribe to that. But lots going on there. He talked about how the 10-year, I don't know if you guys knew this, been this person who's been talking about how the 10-year rates are going to roll over and how we'll see bond yields coming down. Well, we're at pre-election levels. We've seen those drop significantly, and that's a really good sign. So we're loving that. He also talked about seasonality being strong, 83% probability of having a really strong end of the year. I agree with that number. He said sentiment is shit. He didn't actually say that. I did. He said it wasn't good, but I do agree with him on that. I think people are much more willing to have things go down than go up. We've got people like Henrik and a bunch of others. Oh, sorry to hear that, Silas. Sorry to hear that, man. Cancer is like one of my worst fears, honestly. I'm sorry to hear it. I'm glad you're spending time with your father. And yeah, so I think sentiment is really poor right now. And then at the same time, he talked about the Fed and Trump puts being a positive and basically creating a floor, how Trump is positive for the stock markets, how the tariffs are being overblown as being negative, and causing a bunch of inflation and a bunch of other stuff. We've got CNN Fear and Greed dropping substantially here. Actually, I think that one's still sitting around 66. Let's look over here real quick. Yeah, right around 66. So still around an okay level. And then we've got the altcoin crypto one, which is at 80 right now, which isn't too bad. If we look here, it's actually it's much lower than it was before. And if we go back and we look at longer time frames, again, this isn't much of anything when we compare it to these times over here. So I think there's a lot of positive stuff going on right now. Let's jump around here though. Let's look at a few different things. I wanted to go back. I wanted to hear from Tom Lee this morning. He was on already on CNBC, so we're going to listen to him real quick here, and then we'll go from there.
Our next guest sees the S&P rallying to 6,300 by year end, but says we could be entering what he's calling a zone of hesitation in the next couple of weeks. Joining us now, Tom Lee, Fundstrat Capital, Chief Investment Officer.
All right, real quick. Young Investor says, doesn't it seem too early for altcoin season? No, we're already halfway through it. What we're looking at right now is large caps going up quickly, and we can see that before we start to interrupt Tom. He looks mad. We can see that if we look over here at XLM. Again, old shit that used to be called Stellar. XRP up 363% in a month. HBAR, Algo, like there's Algo, which is Algorand. Like there's a bunch of older cryptos that have been pumping. So you go from the big dogs, right, from Bitcoin to Ethereum. Ethereum was doing really good. It was hitting I don't know. Let's see here for the day. Let's go back. Oh, what is this? This is the day. So you can see how XRP is just ridiculous for the cap size that it is. It's almost stupid. It's literally, I think, bigger than Solana right now for market cap, which is just dumb. It doesn't make any sense. But it doesn't matter, right? Like, the bigger ones pump first. Then we'll go into the next tier and the next tier and the next tier and whatever popular narrative there is along the way. So we're very much in it. We're just at the beginning of the second phase of it. And again, we know this is the second phase because if we go to the yearly, you can see WIF and Ray and Bonk and Pepe and OM and Floki and all this other stupid shit that is up just ridiculous amounts of money. Like OM is up 150x. Pretty big number. 151 technically. So I don't think it's too early at all. I think it's, I think this is around, I think the next like 3 to 6 months are like the big time to make a bunch of money. Tom Lee seems to agree. Let's listen to him.
And the CNBC contributor. It's good to see you, Tom. I want to talk to you about the bonds 10-year at some point, but you see 4 reasons why you still expect the S&P to continue to rally in December and maybe to 6,300 by year end. What are the 4 reasons?
Well, one is seasonality. December historically is a strong month, but when you're up more than 10% in the first half and it's an election year, December's been up 100% of the time. The second is yields have moved down to pre-election levels. The 10-year's at 4.1. That's good for multiple expansion. The third is, I think it's been surprising, but sentiment's actually turned negative the last 2 weeks, even as the markets rallied. To me, that's a contrarian bullish signal. And then finally, we still have those 2 puts, the Trump put and the Fed put. And I think that means you still want to buy any of these dips.
What can Trump do to make sure the market keeps going up?
Well, I think we've seen it with how he's made cabinet proposal or nominations, that he's very pro-business. And I think, as many have said, Trump is very focused on the stock market. So I think communication is still a strategy, and it's a reminder that animal spirits could come back.
I don't know if you watch the way the financial, say this tactfully, I don't know if you watch the way the financial media industry covers tariffs. I mean, how can you call him pro-business, according to these people, when he's pro-tariffs? Because you would just think, if you've watched the coverage of tariffs.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's a reminder that it's good to carry a big stick, and I think tariffs have proven to be a good negotiating tool. I think we've seen some proactive actions by other countries. And in general, I don't think the new White House wants to pursue any policies that would hurt corporate profits. So I think ultimately, whatever is accomplished is going to be pro-business.
That's interesting. All right, I hope everybody's listening. At least that's one man's opinion. Whenever we talk about like the 10-year, it's always well, it'd be good this way, but it would be bad this way. If it is falling, which is good for multiple expanding, why isn't that indicating that maybe the economy isn't as strong as we thought, and that maybe corporate profit?
Pause. We just got notice from MicroStrategy, it looks like. 1 second here, guys. Thank you, guys. Let me document this real quick. 15,000 more Bitcoin. Not surprised at all. So this should adjust the tracker to lower the number that we're seeing. So now that we have over 402,100 Bitcoin, we're going to see acquired 23.4 billion at 58,263 per Bitcoin. So again, dragging up the average, but this is still a good average. And from what we saw with Mara, guys, they can literally roll over their convertible debt offerings by using new offerings. And I mean, it's essentially like a Ponzi scheme. It's just built off the most solid asset ever created, which is kind of a big deal. But yeah, this is just going to be insane. This is just going to be insane. Michael Saylor can keep doing this. And as he does it, the actual, this probably hasn't updated yet, but the NAV premium is probably dropped down to the low 2 range right now for MicroStrategy. So the discount or the premium to NAV is getting smaller every time they do this. I don't think people understand just how dramatic this is and how much this is going, a game changer this is going to be, how much it's going to pull forward demand for Bitcoin, driving the price higher while MicroStrategy goes up a bunch. Should you sell MicroStrategy? I don't know. I'm not a financial advisor. You do what you want to do, Copper. I just bought a shit ton. So you do you. All right, let me go back over here. We'll just listen to the last couple words.
Won't hold up there, and of the multiple expansion on one hand, but sometimes that's combined with a slowing in profit growth.
It is a possibility, and it's always hard to tell what the bond market is telling us. But when I look at the next 6 to 12 months, and we know the Fed wants to reduce the cost of capital for homeowners in mortgages and for small business owners, having the 10-year stay at these levels or even fall is actually an easing of financial conditions. So to me, that's a good sign.
Do you think that trying to Elon?
I 100% agree that falling yields on the 10-year is a good fucking sign, because it's going to help. Just like I've been saying forever, it's going to help the real estate market now that we're going to see rates coming back down again. Come springtime, at the perfect time for people to be able to buy houses. We're also seeing a wonderful Black Friday, potentially breaking records, and Cyber Monday I think is going to be amazing too. We're seeing tons of spending. We're seeing yields coming down. This is beautiful. We want to see all of this right now. This is good for the economy. All of it's good.
Elon Musk, Vivek Ramaswamy thing. Do you think it's that they can make real progress, and B, would that be a positive for economic growth, or would it be a negative for economic growth because you're laying people off, you're spending less?
Well, I think it's great that someone is scrutinizing these.
Bernie Sanders said it was great.
Yes, that's right. And these are.
That's not good. No, go ahead. Sorry.
Well, I mean, these are huge budget items, and so I'd love to see someone really identify where there could be waste. Mm-hmm. And is that bad for the economy? I think in general, most people view government spending as the least efficient capital. So if you reduce government spending, and it's been crowding out private sector spending, I'd rather see the private sector reinvest that capital. And I think that would overall be very good.
Like it's a zero-sum game. I mean, a lot of people would take any spending they can get, whether it's government or otherwise, for an economy, for juicing the economy.
Yeah,
You think it would go into private if it's not spent by the government?
Yes, that's right. I think that would free up money, because this is, money, the capital that the government spends is competing with private sector money. I'd rather see the private sector invest this money at a higher rate of return. So I think overall it would be positive for GDP and profits and for equities.
Do you want to, we always get a Bitcoin comment from you before we let you go. Normally it got stuck under 100. That's a pretty, it's a psychological level, I would imagine.
Yeah, I think some of this could be, there's a lot of folks who don't want Bitcoin over 100,000, and some of it may be the exchanges themselves are concerned
suppressing
because
it.
There's a pretty low supply of Bitcoin available over the counter. So you have a supply shortage.
Yep.
And if Bitcoin makes a move above 100,000, I think there'd be a big chase. So
yeah,
I'm still
I agree.
confident Bitcoin's going to close much higher before year end.
Before year end.
Before year end, yeah.
That's 3 weeks away.
So break $100,000 before the end of the year?
Yeah, well above 100,000 before year end. It's just a matter of time.
It's December 2nd. It's not that long, Tom. So it's going to do
Tom.
it in the next 4 weeks.
Tom makes bold short-term
I know,
calls.
you're nuts, and they all come.
3 weeks.
They come true.
Do the math.
You're on a roll. All right.
Well, 3.5.
Tom Lee, thank you.
Great to see him.
Good to see you.
All right, well,
I love Tom Lee, so I agree with him. I still think that Bitcoin's going to break well above 100,000 between now and the end of the year. And so somebody asked about CleanSpark. Yeah, I'll do the earnings call. Happy to. Do I think they're going to do a convertible debt offering? Sadly, I don't think they are. I don't think they are. I hope they are. But from some of the impressions I've gotten from conversations with Matthew Schultz, not with me talking to him, but just watching him communicate with people online, I don't know if he's going to. And I think he's missing out. Again, just being able to roll over debt with these convertible bond offerings, when you have a bond market that's $150 trillion, right? maybe accessible to you 135 trillion. Doesn't really fucking matter. Even $1 trillion is a massive amount of money if you captured like 0.075% of that market. Or I'm sorry, 0.75. No, 0.075. God, I need more coffee. But if you capture just a really small amount of that market, it is massive inflows for Bitcoin. People don't realize this, but you don't actually need you don't need $1 trillion to move the Bitcoin market cap by $1 trillion. $1 trillion could move the market cap of Bitcoin by $2 trillion. It just all depends on how the math plays out. All it is an agreement by buyers and sellers that this thing is more valuable, and whatever amount of trading volume was required in dollar amounts to get it to where they decide upon a new price. That doesn't mean $1 trillion flew into Bitcoin to increase its market cap by $1 trillion. It could have been half that. It could have been a third of that. It's just literally enough volume for all the exchanges to be able to settle on the same price. So I don't think enough people understand things like that. And we're looking at, I agree with Tom too. I think that we're actually seeing exchanges be leery of breaking $100,000 because they don't have the supply. The supply is diminishing greatly. And as the supply diminishes greatly, we've never seen an environment like this. And in any cycle where the amount of Bitcoin on exchanges is plummeting, while at the same time we're seeing levels of demand we've never seen before. You got to realize Saylor's probably bought, 7-8 months worth of supply now himself. And then you have what all the ETFs have bought. And then you have 60 other companies that have ATM offerings or have been pulling and buying Bitcoin. It's just nuts. It's absolutely nuts. Real quickly, though, before we go down the rabbit hole even more, because I think we should, I just want to hop over here and look at the heat map this morning. And we'll just switch this over to the pre-market. And it looks like another good day for Tesla. Again, standing out above all else, up 2% on the day. I'm very excited about that. I think that's going to be amazing. MKBG says Reddit people is having an event to buy Pepe December 3rd. That just sounds like a disaster. Obviously, all the people that are hosting that event have bought Pepe before December 3rd. And they're just trying to get others to pump their bags. That sounds like a fucking nightmare. Reddit is such a shithole place. Young investor, I'm about to sell my girlfriend's dog to scrape some more for MSTX and MSTU. Yeah, we'll have to see. I don't think those are the best. Those aren't the best vehicles for a 2X play. It's kind of a bummer because I've got well over $1 million in them. But I'm not loving them, even though I do think I'll do well and I'll do better than just investing in MicroStrategy between now and the end of the month. I still don't love it. So yeah, we'll see what happens with CleanSpark. CleanSpark so far today, I think, is actually, let's do this. We'll look at a few different things. Up 1.67%. So it's getting a little bit of love. It's trying to test up towards the 200 daily moving average in orange here. We like seeing that. Also, and let's just look, we'll look at the watch list on the side over here and move this over. See how everything's sitting today. Maybe enlarge this a little bit so it's more visible for everybody else. So let's see where we're at. So DLO, of all things, is up today. We'll see how long that lasts. HIMS is up after a good run. Square is in a breakout. Flux is up. Tesla's up. CleanSpark up. Biddy, Coin, Palantir, SoFi, Eura. Banks are doing really good. Palantir continues to just slowly creep higher. Hood is up. ARKG's up. ARGT's up. PayPal's up. A lot of the good stuff's really up today. What isn't up? MicroStrategy's flat. Baba's down. Baba's just stay the fuck away from China. Riot, a lot of the other miners are down. Yeah, it looks like Iron down 2.15, but again, it just screamed higher last week, so that's not too much of a surprise. Let's look at the Bitcoin price action super quick, okay? Well, I got some weird purple haze. Well, that was strange. All right, so looking at Bitcoin's price action, let me just move this back over. One thing I want to point out, and I kind of need to zoom up here, separate this lot. One thing I'm really liking is we're building a very sturdy shelf underneath of us, right down here in the 95 range. And we'll see what happens here with price action. So far, we're still back testing. I probably need to readjust. Let me see here. Probably need to draw this a little cleaner. Let me look at it on the 4 hour. Yeah, that's about right. That's real close. That's real close. So we're finding support where we want to see support. I still think that we're actually getting ready to scream higher. Again, we're getting it on the 100 moving average on the 4-hour, and then also this green trend line support. I wouldn't want it to dip much lower than that. If it does, and we go down to 92, we need to have a really quick wick back up in order to ensure that we don't test lower. Again, that $80,000 low level is still very much potentially in play. We can't forget that. I don't think it's going to happen, but it doesn't mean it can't. Sometimes you get surprised, but I'm thinking we bounce here and that we end up going higher, and then we end up breaking out towards the 100,000 range. I think it's very poetic, too, for something like that to happen come Christmas time when you're hanging out with all your family, and you were talking to them about it on Thanksgiving, and then it breaks 100,000 for Christmas, and then everybody's talking about how you should have already been in, and then they get excited and they get FOMO and they start jumping in. I think that's the kind of stuff we're going to be seeing here in the not-too-distant future. I do want to go over some news real quickly with MicroStrategy and Bitcoin, but I want to jump over here first and just refresh. Jesse, you're my first YouTube creator. Bossman Jesse. I don't know what my first means, but I love that. I love that. You mean subscribe to? Okay, cool. I dig it. All right, let's go up here. So we got some stuff out of Great Britain. Just an absolute disaster, Great Britain. Housing prices are going up. Housing affordability is already just horrific in the UK. So why not have housing prices go up even more by a decent chunk? Forecast 2.3, consensus 2.4. They're in at 3.7. Just horrible. The global manufacturing PMI is in contraction, worse than expected for the UK at 48. They were expecting 48.6 for forecasting consensus. You can see where it's rolling over. They barely got into a growth status, and then they're just rolling over hard. That's the kind of stuff we want to prevent happening here in the United States. Business confidence looking okay in Mexico. We like that. Foreign exchange reserves coming in line. Don't really care too much about that. A little bit lower than expected, I should say. Canada, global manufacturing PMI is at 50. Or no, it's not out yet. Coming out at 830. The United States, though, we have a lot of economic data this week. Even today, we've got global manufacturing PMI. We got ISM, construction spending, all the good stuff. And then we got some Feds talking. And then we have Tuesday, a bunch more Red Book, jolts, job openings, quits, economic optimism, just a lot of stuff. And then Wednesday it kicks in even more. And Thursday it kicks in, and Friday it kicks. We got a lot of economic data. It's going to be a really heavy week. Should be very interesting. I actually see somebody from China at Beige Book talking on CNBC. I want to hear this real quick, real fast. I just want to hear what he has to say about China. Just 1 second here. We're going to go back a hair. And then we'll jump over and talk more Bitcoin and MicroStrategy and a whole bunch more. We got a lot to talk about. But I gotta hear this real quick.
A new report from China. Beige.
I don't think UK is doing it on purpose, chicken bro, to stop economic immigration. They're just fucked. Everything. Keir Starmer is a fool. Everything they're doing, I think he's a pedophile. Everything they're doing is destroying their economy. Immigration is just one part as of late.
Book shows that growth, revenue, and profits grew year over year, while factories benefited from the threat of Trump tariffs. It's kind of not
so very short term.
What you might think. Joining us now to break it all down, Shahzad Qazi, China Beige Book Chief Operating Officer.
It's hard to discern jokes sometimes through messaging. Seymour Sats, can we get the BTC price up in the corner? Yeah, sure.
So why? Why benefiting?
Well, I think what you've got is a lot of front loading happening. So if you look at our export orders index, it's just exploded. It's at one of the highest levels we've seen at least since COVID, maybe even a little bit before that. So companies are scared because of the coming tariffs, and they've placed their orders, and Chinese factories are taking full advantage and pumping out the product.
The stimulus, what do we know now? about what China said they would do, what they're likely to do, and whether it's going to work.
Well, the idea that there was going to be big China stimulus coming proved to be basically completely wrong. And I think what we've got now is they're holding back their firepower because what they want to do is make money available next year to provide support to the economy. I'm really allergic to calling it stimulus still. I think what they want to do is make sure they can provide stability as the tariff threat really comes into action.
Dude, there is no providing stability. There is no providing stability.
Interesting. Did the big move in some of the averages, is that reversed itself, or how did David Tepper, was that a good call that he made?
I don't think so. I don't think that was a good call at all. That there was no reason for this to be a buy everything China rally. There was just
I totally agree with this guy. The China Beige Book is a great group.
No basis for it. You're talking about lifting sentiment? Sure. Look at what's going on within China, right? So you've got companies finally going out there and borrowing. It's aided sentiment a little bit, but I don't think this is going to last necessarily unless, of course, the party comes out, the Communist Party comes out next year with true big bang stimulus. I think low probability for that.
Was Trump's election China's worst nightmare, or do they know how to?
Yes.
It's a strange and complex relationship between countries and between the leaders of the countries. I think there's some kind of strange mutual respect, I think, between Xi and Trump. I don't know whether.
No, there isn't.
They're like, hey,
no, there isn't.
Autocrat, what's going on? You know, good to see you. We both like. Trampling on right. What is that?
So I think, look, they've dealt with President Trump before, but I think in terms of policy,
he is what he is. I mean, what you see is what you get with. Maybe they like that. There's not as much ambiguity, or.
My personal view is that I think they would have much preferred a Harris presidency. I think the Biden administration has been slow and steady by comparison, and I think that's far easier an environment to be in and to deal with.
Why did legacy media say that China was rooting for Trump?
Well, look, who knows what's driving those views. But the fact is there's a lot of uncertainty ahead, including for the Chinese themselves, which is why I think they've held back, as I said, some of that fiscal support they want to provide. They don't know what's coming next year and how bad it's going to be, and they're keeping their options open.
So what could China...
And to be clear, it's a communist regime. They actually don't believe in the people or incentivizing the people or giving money to the people. So when they talk about stimulus, it's all like government bureaucratic bullshit that will do very little to nothing to help the economy over the short term, because it's the people that need to be able to spend money. They need to feel confident that they can spend money. They need to feel confident in their government. When you don't feel confident in your government and it's crushing you, and you see capital outflows everywhere, and you see corporations leaving all the time, and you see less orders coming in, and you see more poor people driving around in cabs trying to survive so that they don't starve to death. And you see that in major cities, like major Shanghai of all fucking places is falling apart at the seams. What is the number? I think it's 5-6 million people that are not there anymore since 2020. Kind of a big deal. So China's a mess, and their form of stimulus is not going to help anything. It's not going to help anything, and people will continue to move away from China. And Trump tariffs, leveling the playing field, making it to where they can't dump product, is not going to help their situation at all.
Do for Trump to say
death spiral.
All right, art of the deal. I'm not going to do these. The tariffs aren't going to be nearly as significant because China has agreed to do what for me? And would they? Is there a path to that?
There conceivably is. Look, last time around when the phase 1 deal was done, it was in many ways not the best deal, right? China made a bunch of promises, none of which really came true. Right now, it seems like the fentanyl crisis is really driving a lot of the president's thinking. So maybe some big pledges there would help. Is there a pathway to a deal?
It's not just about fentanyl. It's about preventing China from being able to dump products while strengthening the American manufacturing sector. There is pain coming for China.
Probably is, but I think gaming it out right now is way too early. I think right now markets are probably much better off if they try to figure out what the tariff likelihood and what that game plan is going to look like rather than jumping ahead to the deal.
What could China do about fentanyl? And do you believe conspiracy theories that this is all part of a way of China maybe at least looking the other way in the hollowing out of American society?
No, they're deliberately trying to do it. They're probably funding the fentanyl distribution to the United States. They want to destroy America and weaken it so that they are the global superpower. This is not just people speculating on it. Xi Jinping said that he wants to make China the strongest economic and military power in the world. They're at war against us already. They started that war years ago. They militarized the South China Sea and said, "Oh no, we won't do that. We won't do that. Oh, here's another military base in the sea and territorial waters that belong to other people." But we say from going back 2,000 years ago that it's ours today. Yeah, no, they're definitely giving us the fentanyl. They're probably producing it at government facilities.
Is that really possible?
Are they trying to do opium wars in reverse? Maybe not, but
yeah, look at TikTok too. They have two versions of TikTok. I forget what it's called in China. Theirs will teach you Xi Jinping's thoughts and how to be a better communist. Ours obviously doesn't do those things and has a different agenda.
Could they really step up law enforcement? This is fundamentally it's an international narco trafficking law enforcement issue. Could countries do more? I am positive they could, including, of course,
especially
China.
a country
Just
that
China.
supposedly knows everything that's happening within its borders and that controls so much of society. How is this allowed to flourish under that regime?
Good
Absolutely.
question.
Look, I just had a conversation last week with somebody who got back, and the amount of surveillance that you see just even on the ground in China has stepped up massively now. So it is very hard for policymakers out here to believe that they don't have the capacity
They're doing anything other than turning a blind eye.
Okay, so they do something with fentanyl. There's no way that they can pull back on dumping EVs over here. You know they're going to do that.
They can't.
That's right. Look, the overcapacity thing, it's
tariff.
built in. There's no telling China, oh, you have an overcapacity problem you need to solve. It is part and parcel of their economic policy. They've told you they are going to accelerate production of various high-end technologies, and if that means dumping the excess production abroad to dominate market share, that is part and parcel of the national strategy.
Then he's going to do something. Trump.
Yeah, which is okay. They can do that, but they're getting 100% tariffs on those products, and they're not going to get into the United States. And the tariffs, the 25% tariff threats for Canada and Mexico are made to ensure that they're not just dumping into those locations and then feeding it into the United States. They're going to tighten up a lot.
Trump's going to do something about that.
The president's hand's going to be forced, and quite frankly, whoever would have been president, their hand would have been forced. We've got Donald.
Also, another thing, the vast majority of Chinese EV makers cannot make a profit, almost all of them. So you have to realize that if they can't make a profit and they can't tap the U.S. market, one of the largest markets and richest on earth, right? Literally the richest on earth as far as major industrial powers. Then they're going to have to dump it for lower costs in areas where they can't make nearly as much. And all that is just more bleeding. It's more bleeding because they're subsidizing all these vehicles. And the more they produce, the more money they're losing. And if you look at companies that have been doing that, you're going to see that they're dying. Even companies, I haven't talked about this. I think the news just came over the last week. But even Nissan is talking about how they have 12 or so months before they disappear and go bankrupt. So no more Nissan GTRs, no more cool supercars. They're going to go away. There's going to be so much of that in China. There's so much of that, guys. It's going to crush their market. Ali says, I'm seeing a lot more Chinese cars in the UK. One of the many problems of the UK government, they've got to kill that too. So does Germany. But they got this weird interdependency with China where they work so much with them that China can hurt them more if they try and cut off the valves of the dumping they're receiving. Germany has this problem the most because, again, Germany was like the lead of the world for auto manufacturing, arguably, and that's all gone. It's just gone. They're devastated. They're going to be destroyed. The only bright hope they have right now is Tesla.
On Trump now, he's going to have to do something.
No, they might have just said, don't.
That's basically what Janet Yellen has been saying for a while.
Don't.
On it.
Don't. You know how well that works.
Yeah. It doesn't work.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, I believe it.
Or a red line.
But is that why it's so important to be cracking down on
Rivian
Canada
and
and
Estonia.
Mexico quickly because of the renegotiation of the new NAFTA?
Yeah, I think that's, it seems
and that's
like
going to be the back door into?
That's, I think, part of it, and they're trying to come down on the transshipment issue, which is incredibly complicated, because, again, we have to think about what our objectives are. Do we want to move supply chains out of China, or do we really want to go after anything that has a China ingredient, if you will, in it? a big question to be discussed.
There's sourcing of materials that are crucial to warfare, and that are crucial towards different sectors in the United States being able to survive. We need to make sure that we're getting the raw minerals and the things and the processed materials that we need for those. And then we also need to, obviously, we need to gut their manufacturing sector and reduce it, because a strong manufacturing sector is not good in war. We don't want them to have a strong manufacturing sector. And they're pushing for war, guys. You got to realize they had pre-pandemic, I don't even think they had 100 nukes, and now they have, like, I think closer to 500. They're preparing for war. China wants war. The only thing that might prevent that or cause it is their economy collapsing, which it is.
A lot of stuff to discuss. We'll see you again, hopefully, Shehzad. Thanks for being here in studio. Thank you.
When we come back, Elon Musk is asking a court to block.
Yeah, that works out okay for the UK, Jason, if they don't have any manufacturing for vehicles. That's true. But it's not just that. It's everything. It's everything. China is going to dump all their products on them, and it'll look great for the UK to be able to buy cheaper cars, but then they're dependent upon China for sourcing and materials. The UK is just fucked. The UK is just fucked in every possible way right now. If they don't get rid of Keir Starmer, they're done. They're done. The UK is quickly turning into a third world nation, in my opinion. I just don't think they see it, but that's what's happening. I wouldn't want to live there at all. And people that do should get the fuck out or change their government very quickly. Otherwise, they're done.
OpenAI from...
Yeah, this is interesting, too. So Musk is suing OpenAI to prevent them from turning from a nonprofit to a for-profit. So it looks like Sam Altman's paycheck might not be coming in yet. So he's going to have to... I remember Sam Altman talking about how he didn't even get like a paycheck, and how he didn't even like how he was just this broke entrepreneur who only cares about providing the coolest AI for the world and all this kind of shit, right? And then I saw him riding around in a $3 million Bugatti, and I was like, is that real? And then you see everybody that works there bailing out before they get their big multi-billion dollar, $150 billion valuation, right? So why would all the founders leave this company that created this amazing technology? Why would they do that right before their big payday? It doesn't make any sense whatsoever at all, but that's what's happening. I do want to jump over to other stuff real quick. I want to see if the MicroStrategy tracker has updated with a new NAV premium based upon recent data points. Let's see here real quick. I gotta go. There's like a way. This thing is weird. Let me see. Yeah, there we go. Okay. I don't know if it has. I don't think it has. It's still at 2.4. So we should see that update a little bit later, I think. And that will be interesting. Saylor says, most Western countries have a trade deficit with China. They should feel under no obligation to take their cars in the first place. Agreed. We have a huge one. And that's what we're trying to fix, right? We need to make it. And we're seeing the trade deficit widen because of the fact that we have these tariffs potentially coming in the early part of the year. So everybody's doing their buying ahead of time. So we're seeing it widen, but then I think we're going to see it greatly drop, which is beautiful and what we want to see. Dominic Webb, I see it. I want to leave, but don't want to leave my family, which don't want to. Yeah, that's a bummer. I hear that, Dominic. It's really sad. I hope for the UK will get better. I don't know, when you're imprisoning teachers because they don't use they them pronouns and they've been in there for over 500 fucking days. I don't think there's a lot of hope. But I hear you. Family's really important. Cape, have you heard anything about Finland? Economy has not grown for 20 years. I mean, Europe is a fucking disaster. The only shining bright point in Europe, really, in my opinion, is Poland. Or at least one of the main ones, right? And Poland is growing because of the UK and all these other parts of Europe's demise, because they didn't allow a bunch of illegal immigrant flows to destroy their civilization. And since they've done the opposite of that, they look very attractive to everybody else in Europe. And so anybody with money, anybody who wants a bright future, they want to go there. Dario, can you look at the Tesla chart? Do you think there's a chance it'll drop to 310 or less? No, fuck no, Dario. It's not even close to doing that. It's going to go up. Have you seen FSD 13? This chart, first off, is beautiful. It looks almost like another cup and handle. We're going up to 390 soon. That could happen between now and the end of the year. We're definitely not going to 300. Not with the release of FSD version 13 coming out now. The narrative is too strong. And we have a bunch. We'll get back to the MicroStrategy stuff in a second. I don't know that I've captured all these, but I might have a couple. So first off, the holiday update is going to be sick. There's so much to this. Let me just shrink this down. So you're going to be able to like control your Tesla from your watch. How many people can do that who don't have a Tesla? You can you could save dash cam and Sentry mode clips to your phone while you're watching them. So if you see somebody fucking with your car, you can yell at them and you can also save the clips. Insanity. Auto shift between drive and reverse on stockless Model 3. So all these things are just getting better. Sirius XM now available for the Model 3, the Y, and the Cybertruck. So anybody who wants to use that old crap can use it. Set arrival energy at destination. You can now set a preferred battery charge level for when you arrive at a destination. That's kind of cool. It makes it to where, again, you can make sure that you have enough power or that you're maybe stopping more often to get your charge up all the way. Well, there's the autumn scene, guys. I look orange. Yay. Search along route with estimated detour times. When navigating, search results are now filtered to show options along your route and estimated detour times. This is just getting so much cooler, guys. Precipitation map and weather at destination. Look at this. Look at what... It's insane. Rear cross traffic alert. When in reverse, your vehicle will alert you if it detects a pedestrian or a vehicle crossing behind you. These cars are just becoming so amazing. Cybertruck custom wraps and license plate customization. Oh, what? Oh, dude. I can add a visual to show my custom wrap. Oh, I fucking love this so much. Oh, I love this so much. Cybertruck rear camera improvements. The rear feed is now larger and you can pinch to zoom in or out. Tune in. I don't even know what that is. Cybertruck rear arcade. Play games from the backseat while cruising around. Love it. Cybertruck Santa mode. Ho, 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 ho. Santa changes. Cool. Dig that. And it even looks like a little Cybertruck. Fucking awesome. Schedule light show. Whatever. This looks like a bunch of crap. More games. Fart on contact. Each time a bum is detected, it'll fart. I love that. Adjust passenger seat controls, maintenance summary. And here's the other thing. So this is all like the holiday special stuff, but I think we're actually going to have version 13 on top of that because we're already seeing it from all the influencers. So this is just insane. Also, Tesla Chan reported, Stifel raised Tesla's price target to 411, citing confidence in its AI and self-driving plans while keeping a buy rating. Roth MKM upgrades to buy from neutral. Also, we're seeing. I don't know if I have that in this clip, but this is Seth Golden talking about how he believes that big tech will actually pick up the pace heading into the new year and start outperforming. That's possible. I think that can happen. I think if that does happen, Tesla's actually going to be at the front of the lead of that. This is Farzad saying old money is prove it to me. And new money is made by front-running old money long before prove it to me comes to fruition. I 100% agree with that. Whether it's Bitcoin, whether it's Tesla, whether it's an array of other investment types, being ahead of the curve and seeing things before other people see them is how you make shit tons of money and become the big old money. Breaking, Whole Mars Catalog says, holy fudge, Tesla FSD is so good. I agree. Hans says, remember when I said cars are to Tesla what books are to Amazon? Well, in case you were confused, version 13 isn't a car. You've been warned. Hans is getting cocky. I like cocky Hans. Hans is the most like timid, chill, relaxed person outside of Farzad I've ever met. So it's nice to see him getting a little excited over here. Sound of the Walkie breaking. Elon Musk files preliminary injunction again against OpenAI. Love it. Elon Musk has far more reach than any other news source. This is beautiful. So Catherine Herridge, she used to be, does it say what she used to be on? She's a journalist, Emmy-winning journalist. I forget what news organization she was affiliated with. But she's talking about how she's getting 30 million engagements on X versus 4.5 million viewers on networking evening news, and how it's just growing and growing and growing. Again, this is the everything Elon segment. The power of X on full display. AJ shows how Lex Friedman was saying, hey, I would love to speak to Vladimir Zelensky on a 3-hour podcast. I'll come to Kiev for it. Zelensky said, yeah, sure. I'll see you when you get here. This is just an amazing platform where we can get views from people, from the source, and hear people asking tough questions and getting the truth. I love it. This is the news. Jeff Lutz, every auto boardroom, every C-suite exec at every company, auto company, has a fiduciary responsibility to decide quickly if they should be spending $1 more on their research and development or partner with Tesla. They'll be choosing Tesla. They will. They can barely survive at making cars. They will definitely be partnering with Tesla on FSD. Maybe they'll be partnering with Tesla on skateboards. And we haven't talked about this in a long time, but doesn't it make a lot of sense for car companies to be like the shell and the emblem, and then have the actual car that's going to be much better, built by Tesla with FSD by Tesla, and they can just be a brand and pocket a certain margin? If they want to survive, they're going to have to think about that. And again, this is a breakdown from Dalton about what version 13 has. I won't go through all the details, but it's 5 times better than the other version that I let drive me around town all the time. Totalus, this is already showing where the Magnificent 7 ordered by relative strength. There's a new leader. It's Tesla. Gotta love that. We talked about that coming for a long time, and it's finally here. Love it. Grok app coming soon. Soon you'll just be able to open up Grok and use Grok just like you would ChatGPT and OpenAI. They've already opened up the API. Brilliant stuff. Tesla point-to-point autonomous transport under supervision. This isn't the future, it's the present. Look at this. When I get this version, pull out from my garage, just set a destination and have it fucking go. I don't think people realize what's happening right now. Somebody asked me, these teenage girls yesterday, I had somebody draw a penis on the side of my Cybertruck yesterday. That was fun. They did it was dirty. So I think they were letting me know how much they loved it. And then shortly after that, I went to McDonald's, got my daughter some food because she likes her 2 cheeseburger meal. Anyway, so I got her that. And then these 2 teenage girls literally came outside. They work there, and they're like, can we take a picture with your Cybertruck? I'm like, sure. They took a picture of me with the Cybertruck and then them with the Cybertruck. And then I took off and left. But again, all kinds of experiences with the Cybertruck. If you like penises, you get penises. You also get young girls flocking around your Cybertruck because they're so excited by how cool it is. And they asked me, does it really drive itself? And I'm like, yeah, literally drove to McDonald's with the car driving. But look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Navigating back. This Cybertruck or this car, I don't know if it's a Cybertruck. This Tesla vehicle is going to literally park itself in the supercharger stall. Imagine what the supercharger stalls are wireless, and your charger at your house is wireless, and your car just comes and goes and never gets plugged into anything. And it just does this based upon your schedule, and maybe you have it hooked up to the network to be able to help other people. This is pretty amazing stuff, guys. This is the future of technology. We are lucky to be at a time where we can watch our car just hang out and watch it pull itself into a charger. The only thing that's missing is its ability to be able to plug itself in, and with the wireless charging from the company Tesla bought several years ago, they'll have that. Maybe it was 1.5 years ago. I don't know. Time goes so fast. It's hard to know. But look at this. Look at this. This is fucking insane. Teslas are never going to be able to drive themselves. It's all bullshit. Look at this car. Look at this car getting in here. Look at how aggressive it gets in. Watch this. Gets in, doesn't hit that car, gets over to the other lane right away. Oh, waits for another car, gets in right away, gets all the way over. This thing used to be so slow at trying to change lanes and just had no confidence whatsoever. Now it does it like a boss. A 3-point turn at a dead-end street. We can just do that now. We can just make 3-point turns, guys, at a dead-end street. Yeah, I've got people literally taking photos with me. It's weird. And I'm not even big. I can only imagine how much stranger it gets if my channel grows more. But look at this. Oh, and I decided when I get my 3 cyber cabs, look at this. The car just did that. This is insane. This is insane. Like, this is the stuff that Tesla's doing now, guys. There's so much more, but like, oh, so much more. It's just, we're on the precipice of amazing things, whether it's Bitcoin, whether it's Tesla, whether it's our government and our economy. There's so many good things happening right now. And then I'm seeing other people like Henrik von, whatever the fuck his name is, who's just based on Elliott wave theory telling us that the world is falling apart at the beginning of the year. Don't get me wrong. I actually think there could be some selling at the beginning of the year, especially if we rally into the end of the year and do as good as I think we're going to do. But I think it's a little idiotic to talk about a Great Depression coming, a recession worse than the Great Financial Crisis and potentially worse than the Great Depression. Sorry, it's cold in here. I need to turn up the heat in my house. It's like freezing. I'm not feeling warm right now. Okay. Luckily, I can do that from my phone. But yeah, so the economy. Let's go to the economy for a second, then we'll get into the Bitcoin stuff. So my buddy Crossroads says, PayPal, I'm seeing a lot of headlines like this one in Fortune magazine. Online sales are up 14.6% year over year, courtesy of Elon Fanboy. Are we following him? Yes, we are. Okay, good. I like his little picture. It's cute. But he said last year PayPal was used for around 25% of e-commerce. I'm guessing that's closer to 23 to 24% this year. But the pie just got a lot larger. So he's thinking that the PayPal size got smaller, but the pie got a lot bigger, so that we should see a really good year for PayPal. I agree with that. I think that's probably true. Let me see here real quick. I'll try and get caught up in comments too. Intel CEO stepped down. Good. Fuck him. That's why the stock's up today. Congrats. Bearish opinion on NVIDIA. Should see new all-time high soon? Good question. We'll look at that chart in a little bit. I guess we'll have to cover a few chip stocks because I kind of talk about them today too. So Carolyn, I use Siri. Ha ha ha. Old person music. No. Hey man, everybody's got their thing. When you get used to something and you like it and you got like channels you like, it happens, right? But even I'm getting older. I'm pretty cutting edge when it comes to technology. I'm probably a lot weirder than most people my age who are getting closer and closer to 50. But even I have like things where when something changes on an app or technology, I'm just like, wife, here you go. I don't want to figure it out. You do it. And I've been struggling. Matthew, one of the guys, the architect who's trying to get me to do stuff, he's trying to, and I mean, it's good stuff, right? He's like, hey, I'll make a bunch of videos, chop them down. I just need access to a storage location and the Descript software that you have. I got him Descript, but I still haven't, I ran into issues with the storage thing, so I still haven't gotten that done. But it's like I still struggle with stuff like this because I'm older, so I get it. I get it a lot. All right, that one we already did. Brad Gerstner, I love this guy. He goes, to be clear, Doge will be far more ambitious than simply balancing the budget, reining in the admin state. Let's listen to this real quick. This is 3 minutes. Brad is a brilliant, brilliant futurist. When I say futurist, I'm not just talking about the things that will come in the next 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. I'm talking about just somebody who can look out at the business and the geopolitical climates and see the future and what's coming in the next 6 months, year, 2 years. He's multifaceted, and I love to listen to him. So let's go.
So I did a little analysis with our team and asked, what would it take? What would it take for us to balance the budget by 2029? So this first chart we're going to put up, if you look at it, it simply shows the COVID bump in spending from $5 trillion to $7 trillion. Now, if you reduced spending for the next 4 years, Bill, at 3%, it simply gets us back to $6 trillion, which is exactly the trend line that government spending would be on if it grew at the 15.
To be clear, he's talking about this number because this is what we're looking at. Elon saying he should be able to do this or better.
Year rate pre-COVID. So not draconian at all. If you look at chart 2, it shows a base case for balancing the budget at $6 trillion in 2029. Now, you get there by simply...
Now, part of the, to be clear about this too, Core Scientific to offer 500 million convertible. You are shitting me. You're shitting me. Dude, CleanSpark better have a fucking announcement today. They better. Again, we'll be doing the earnings call. They better have a fucking announcement. They better. They better, because this is where the mining industry is heading, and this is going to give them a strategic advantage. If you're not on board with this kind of stuff, if you're not looking towards the future and figuring out how you can get financing in more intelligent ways at really low percentage offers without diluting shareholders, you're falling behind. You're falling behind. So they better figure this shit out. Yeah, that's fucking crazy. That's awesome, but crazy. I hope CleanSpark has an answer to this shit, guys. I hope they do. I got a lot of money riding on it. I've got over $600,000 in options. They better do it right. They better do it right. Thank you for the heads up on that, by the way. All right, real quickly, let's get back to this.
Reducing the size of government by about 3% a year for the next 4 years. Again, just still going from $5 trillion in 2019 to $6 trillion in 2029. So you're still growing at that 3% rate, but you have to reduce the size from the $7 trillion that we are today. Yep. And it assumes that revenues grow at 3.5%. And if we do that, then we balance the budget in 2029. And so that sounds good, but some people say, oh, that's impossible. Revenues can't possibly grow at 3.5%.
Yes, they
because
can.
Trump is proposing tax cuts. And we all know that tax cuts will make revenue go down, correct? No, incorrect. If you look at the chart 3 that we're showing up, Bill, we looked at 3 different growth scenarios. If we grew revenues at the same rate that we have for the last 20 years, right, starting next year, which is 4.9% per year CAGR for 20 years, we would end up with a $450 billion surplus in 2029. Now, if you grew at the rate since the Trump tax cuts in 2017, which is faster than the 20-year rate. So since the tax cuts in 2017, we've grown our federal revenues at 5.8%. If you do that and simply reduce the size of government back to trend line, you end up with a $700 billion surplus. And then the third scenario, take a conservative case. Let's say that for some reason we're going to grow a lot slower than we have in the since the Trump tax cuts, or even slower than we have over the last 20 years, and we assumed a 3.5% growth in federal revenues. Even at 3.5% growth for the next 4 years, you balance the budget in 2029 by simply reducing the size of government 3% a year back to trend line.
That is all fucking beautiful. And here's the thing. Elon isn't doing this. I see so many people that talk about this subject and don't know what the fuck they're talking about. Elon isn't doing this, and Vivek aren't doing this in a way that's going to be disruptive towards the economy in the short term. What they're doing is sunsetting jobs. They're going to sunset jobs and give people 2 years' pay, and then make it to where going forward, the deficit will be lower. And I've talked about this before. What does that do? It helps the bond market immensely. My goal is to make a couple more $1 million between now and the end of the year. We'll see if it happens. It doesn't have to. Timing could be wrong. But if I do that, I'm planning on putting at least $500,000 to $1 million in TLT, because people don't realize this yet. But what is happening right now is that they're making it to where our bonds will be worth money in the future, because people will look and they'll go, wait, oh, in 2 years, all these jobs are going to go away and projections for the budget are looking good. And then the lowering of tax revenues has actually been pro-growth and it has increased revenues. And we're looking at a balanced budget by 2029, like Brad Gerstner talked about, who's a fucking brilliant man. There's a reason he's a billionaire. I think he's a billionaire. Let's check. Let me look over here. Is Brad a billionaire? Brad Gerstner. How much is Brad Gerstner worth? But he's a brilliant dude. And then all of a sudden people are like, you know what? The bond market is looking good, right? Like the other markets have really performed. Maybe I should start using TLT or some of these other bonds, longer dated bonds as a cash position, because they've got a lot of upside and the government in the United States is looking more powerful than they've looked in a very long time. So why wouldn't I spend some money. How much is Brad Gerstner worth? Come on, Grok. Give me an answer. To be around $1 billion. Yeah, so he's like loose billionaire. I was loose millionaire for a while. Now I'm very much a millionaire. So we'll give it to him. Yeah, this is just amazing. Yeah, so people were talking. I do hope that CleanSpark makes the right decision. Okay? I don't want it to dip. Benedict says I'm already ready to buy the dip. I will not be buying more dip. If I will hold my position, I still plan on making money off of it, but yeah, I don't love options on bonds, Obi-Wan, because they move so much slower normally. And the time frames, they don't always give you like a good 2.5 year leap. So I do worry about those a little bit. But if you find any good ones, you let me know. But yeah, I have a lot of money already in CleanSpark. I do believe in the management. I love what they've done so far. I think they're just hopefully I'm wrong, a little blind to what these convertible bond debt offerings can do for them and how they can benefit them and how they can help them roll out debt without diluting shareholders, and how if they're not doing that, people will stop investing in them. So I hope that's not the case. I hope I'm wrong, and that they're going to end up doing this. And that's why I've been banging the drum and making sure that Matthew Schultz sees my posts, calling him out and telling him that they need to be doing convertible bond debt offerings if they want to survive in the future. So hopefully he sees that. Hopefully he sees these news announcements and he's like, shit, we better say something about doing that in today's call, because we just don't have, enough. And or they have like massive amounts of growth. They got to do something. It shouldn't be shareholder dilution. That's not the right answer anymore. The game has changed. Let me see here. Let me get caught up in a few comments. JT said Doge is building an all-star team, kind of like how Trump built his all-star team. Agreed. CDN. Oh my God! And the new what was it? The new head FBI director, fucking Patel. Amit was saying a brown person like me, just like you can tell Trump's not a racist because he's appointing a brown person like me to the head of the FBI. That guy knows. He is the king of conspiracy theories that turn out to be true, and he is releasing the Epstein and Diddy list when he gets into office. Imagine the shit show. Bill Gates, bye. We know you were diddling a bunch of kids on Epstein's Island, so it's going to suck to be you in the future. You're going away. For anybody who didn't watch the video that I posted where Bill Gates talks, the lady asked him if there's anything he learned about like his relationship with Epstein, and communicating with him despite all this controversy and stuff. And he responded with a very awkward, well, he's dead. So he is guilty as fucking sin. There's a reason his wife left him. All that stuff is coming out. That and a bunch more. It's going to be a very interesting new start to the year, guys. But you got to let's step back for just a second, okay? If Brad is right and we're going to be able to balance our budget by 2029, which I think is going to be very doable, and we know that the bond market will benefit from that. And we know that will drop yields, which will lower the interest obligation every year for the federal government and make it more sustainable. It's almost like a self-fulfilling prophecy where if they're doing a good job to lower the budgets and the deficit that we're running in the future and not impacting the markets of today, along with lower taxation, along with, again, not increasing taxes, because that's what would have happened if Trump's plan would have rolled over, because that was going to happen at the beginning of this year. Then there's so many benefits, and then you line that up with AI, autonomy, robotics, all these things being birthed at the same time, and then you line that up with China needing to do something to stimulate their economy and having no choice but to let their currency roll over. It's going to just, they're going to get impoverished even more. They're going to have to print tons of money. And in the process of doing that, they're going to increase their capital outflows, which are already at records. In 1 year, they're experiencing 10 years of capital outflows. Give it next year, and maybe that's 20 years of capital outflows, or 30, because they didn't have that much more before that. So it's going to be I think, a recipe for a melt up. But then you hear people like Henrik, who are Elliott wave theorists, who are telling us that everything is going to die at the beginning of the year. Again, my theory is that we will see a rollover in the markets and maybe like a temporary drop just heading into the new year, because there's going to be a bunch of people that are going to be selling stuff and taking cash. And I believe that's true, but I don't think that's the end. I'm trying to prepare cash for that event, though. That's my game plan. When is CleanSpark earnings? It's after close today, so we'll be looking at it today, and I'll be setting up another stream here shortly after this one. Wish I was an American. Hey, I wish you were too, Trader Girl. I just love that we got women in here talking about investing. You're a rare breed. When you look at a lot of people's feeds and you look at the percentage of women that are in them, I think I'm running 7 or 8%. That's actually pretty high. The numbers are astronomically low. There's not enough women that focus on investing. It's crazy to me. Not trading so much. Like, you don't need to be a trader, but investing is definitely a win. And there's just not enough women that think about those things. I hope that changes in the future. Young investor, have we talked about MicroStrategy yet? Had to close the stream and get ready for work. We have. I mean, it's all good, right? They bought more Bitcoin. They're over 400,000 now. We've got Mara and Core Scientific, who are using the same convertible debt bond offering to be able to purchase Bitcoin. That looks great. I think Bitcoin is finding its bottom right now. That's my thesis, at least. I think we're in a pretty good volume territory. If you look over here, let me just move this up down in the bottom right, guys. You can see where we're building a decent little volume shelf down here. And I like the fact that each leg down, we're finding strong volume and creating some teeth in this volume profile. This is usually a good sign for continuation patterns. And again, if we look at the weekly, guys, I just want to show you the weekly. So we might have dropped down here. There's a fib level here too. I could probably show you that, right? So there's a fib level down here at the 92,000 range. But let's just ignore that for a second. Let's ignore this candle too. Look at the weekly candle. After these strong moves, look at the weekly candle here and how it turned out. It's a beautiful, beautiful looking wick. And it almost looks like we're just forming a bull flag on a weekly time frame now. If we ignore the wicks, it looks like I think this one's going to probably end up higher too. We're forming a bull flag and we're getting ready to go higher. I think that's going to happen in short order, personally, for Bitcoin. And I think everything's getting ready to melt up. All these companies that are buying Bitcoin is having an impact, a positive impact, all of it. Heinz in, when is CleanSpark earnings? Aftermarket today. Al Shahabi, it's not to buy BTC though. Are you talking about which one? Which one are you talking about? Are you talking about Core? Are you talking about Mara? Because Mara, almost all their money is going to buy BTC. Let me see. Do I have it in here? Oh, hey, I should like that. That's me. Almost all of Mara's is to buy BTC. I didn't look at Core Scientific. Let me look at theirs. Core Scientific announced a $500 million in convertible senior notes with an additional $75 million option. TBD on pricing of the notes. Core Scientific will use the money raised for business expenses and growth. So theirs isn't to buy BTC, but Mara's is. The vast majority of Mara is going to buy BTC. I don't know where I have it in here. I got it bookmarked somewhere. But theirs is the vast majority is going to Bitcoin. And again, not everybody's going to do it the same way. That's fine. If they're increasing operations where they can build or mine more Bitcoin, I think that's okay. I don't think that's as good as what we're seeing from Mara. I think Mara is taking a much smarter path. Private offering, 0% convertible notes of 700 million plus 105 million option. Proceeds to be used primarily to acquire Bitcoin and repurchasing 2026 convertible notes up to 50 million. So the 50 million is a small amount out of the 700 to 805 million that they're going to be doing. So very different. Jesse, what software do you use to stream your show? I use OBS. can't really show you that, but I use OBS. It's free. And then I use, since I'm streaming to X and YouTube, I use something called Restream. And that takes my stream that I direct to Restream, and it distributes it out to multiple sites. It can actually do 5. I think with the new version I got, I can do 10. So I could actually have 10 sources that I'm going out to. I don't care, though. Honestly, X, I did Rumble for a little bit. X and YouTube are plenty for me. I think that's like 90% of the game anyway, 95%. So the rest don't really matter to me. Yes. Alex Garcia, CleanSpark better come up with something. Agreed. Albert, 40% of my portfolio is CleanSpark. Mistakes were made. I see it now. I really hope they announce something. Yeah, again, portfolio allocation is hugely important, guys. I would never, not to shit on you, Albert, but I've made these same mistakes in the past. I need to update this, by the way. But this is lower in Tesla now, so it's not 40% Tesla anymore, and it's more in it's probably like 10 or 11% MSTX and MSTU. So I'm pushing almost 25% on that. That's a large position for me. But again, CleanSpark only 13% of my portfolio, even though I have a lot in it. So I definitely recommend diversification. You don't want too many eggs in one basket. Even if it does seem like the best basket, things can change, and that can hurt you. But I still have hope in CleanSpark. I have hope in their management has been excellent for the last 4 or 5 years. I expect that to continue. So I hope they make the right decisions and the market likes what they're doing. Benedict, I'm already mentally preparing. Yeah, okay. Cape, I plan to sell CleanSpark if the earnings guidance is weak and they don't start announcing same strategy like Mara or MicroStrategy. Yeah, that's fair. Akash 2000, what if they don't mention anything related to convertible notes? I think it's going to hurt the stock, which bums me out because I could lose hundreds of thousands of dollars. The final countdown, is it me or is Jesse looking chesty this morning? I've been working out more. I can do it. Look at this. Yeah, so I'm getting a little more chesty. I can bounce my boobs up and down. All right. TLT options are sweet. Young investor, I want to get to lose $1 million this BT cycle. I want to get to lose $1 million. 2 millionaire status this cycle, I think is what you said. Benny, Palantir new collab with Ferrari. They just uploaded a cool video with Charles Leclerc. That's cool. I don't know how much that matters with their company, but I'm happy they're doing good. And Ferrari's a great company. I actually want to buy one of those someday. Actually, probably a Lamborghini. I want that Lamborghini Revolto. It's one I love, or I don't even know how you pronounce it. I'm probably butchering it. Sam Osborne, cheers, Jesse. I'll catch up the rest tomorrow's. Cool, man. Xian O, do you think it's still good to enter PayPal shares and options? Shares, definitely. I haven't looked at options in a while. We could probably check that out at some point this morning and see if they're a good deal. My PayPal options for 2026 are up 176%. So that's a lot. So I don't know about options. They're probably not as good of a deal as they were before. But yeah, it's probably, the stock I think is still a good deal. Trader Girl says, do you think Grok actually performs better? Not yet. It comes close on some metrics, but not yet. But Grok is changing so quickly. Grok is going to be able to do a lot of things. First off, it can look at MRIs and X-rays and diagnose, which is crazy. It can also look at financial statements. I'll probably be using it today to feed it the financial statements from CleanSpark to have it assess and then summarize any highlights of what I should be paying attention to. It will also in the future be able to look at omnibus bills, these huge thousands of page bills that try to get pushed through Congress, and it'll be able to point out any abnormalities or things that people are trying to push through that shouldn't be pushed through in the omnibus. And by the end of the year, it should be smarter than every other chat AI on Earth. So, do I think it is right now? No, but do I think it is in the future? Yes, it'll far surpass every other one. Alex Garcia, Iron didn't play the convertible bond offerings card right and still did well on earnings. They had massive growth and they did great on earnings. And I would love for that to be CleanSpark too. I would love for that to happen. 30% increases in Iron over a short period of time are great. And that might just be the flavor, right? Like that might be what we're seeing, especially if Bitcoin can do well and take off. It might just be that. It might just be that, CleanSpark goes with it. Jay Strez, Patel knows where the bodies are buried. Yes, he does, dude. He's going to kick ass as an FBI director. Casper Holt, hey, Jesse, how do you think about S&P 500 running so much divergence with job openings? Look at the graph. Oh, dude, did I even look? What time is it? 8:11. We got 19 minutes. I don't know what you mean by the divergence with job openings. Look at the graph if you got time. I don't know. Which graph are you talking about, Casper? Young Investor, our CleanSpark mentions they're talking with a hyperscaler. That would be huge too. I don't think they're going to be talking about that. They're really very much selling themselves as a clean Bitcoin play. So if anything, I would think the convertible debt offerings. But yeah, I think the big thing with the good point though, Young Investor, the big thing with Iron was probably, again, discussion of hyperscaling and diversification, and then a really great self-mine number and good guidance. So can CleanSpark offer that same thing? We'll see. They need to in some way, right? Dario, I am in TLT January 18th, 2026, 150. 150. I don't know what that's going to look like. Can I get to 150 in that time? I mean, if there's a big surge in TLT in the next half a year, then those should do all right, I imagine. I don't know what the multiple of return is for them, and I haven't run them against a calculator. I'm probably staying away from options myself. I don't know. I might. It depends. I might get some. We'll see. Alexander Hill, no wonder his wife left him with his list came out or just before. Yeah, oh yeah, talking about Bill Gates, totally. C-list, my brother married an Indian American who takes her caste and skin color very seriously. She treats her brother's wife poorly. Yeah, I've got some friends and family that are Indian. They care very much about their culture, but they're not like that. They're not like racist. See, here's the thing, guys. Shocker. You can be black, Indian, Chinese, and be a fucking racist. It's not just white guys. Isn't that shocking? Young Investor, did you see Saylor pitching Microsoft? Yeah, he did. Let's talk about that real quick. I don't know if the pitch is going to work for Microsoft. I don't know if it's going to work for Microsoft, but I do think it was a good one. And again, here's that comment about blue-green imbalance, and then we know that we got the green. So let's look at his pitch, though, real quick. Let's watch it. It's 3 minutes.
Microsoft can't afford to miss the next technology wave, and Bitcoin is that wave.
Agreed.
Bitcoin represents the greatest digital transformation of the 21st century. It represents digital capital. The global wealth is distributed across assets that provide utility and others that preserve capital. But risk is destroying trillions of dollars of that capital every single year, and investors are turning to digital capital in the form of Bitcoin in order to avoid that risk. Digital capital is economically and technically superior to physical capital, and it represents a revolutionary advance.
These are brilliant slides. I'm just going to go back one. There's so much good stuff on here. Look at this. Digital capital is economically and technically superior. Bitcoin offers the benefits of owning a building without the liabilities of conspicuous, immobile asset. It says no tax, no traffic, no tenants, no torts, no trouble, no mayor, no weather, no corrosion, no regulator, invisible, indestructible, immortal, teleportable. Literally, I mean, it can go anywhere, right? It's super teleportable is just another way for transportable, but it's probably even cooler. Programmable, divisible, volatile, fungible, and configurable. This is just an amazing slide in and of itself. It reminds me of, I don't remember if it was Gary. What is his last name? I don't know. One of these two twin brothers that are super rich that bought real estate, and he's like, I so regret it because it flooded. And he was talking about how he much rather would have invested in Bitcoin and he would have made a lot more money. It's true. This is why, guys. This is why, and there's some other good charts that we're going to focus on in a second too. This is why Bitcoin is going to be such a huge thing in the future, because people don't realize this. There's too much money in real estate. There's too much money in real estate. It's unaffordable all around the world. We just saw unaffordability picking up in the UK based upon year-over-year prices in housing. And that's happening all over the place. And it's unaffordable and people can't buy it. So why is it unaffordable? Because people use it as a store of value. Once they realize that it's a shitty store of value, then all of a sudden real estate will become more affordable and that money will get sucked into Bitcoin, just like it's going to get sucked in from all kinds of areas, not just real estate. But this is a beautiful slide. Let's keep going.
Physical capital. and it represents a
Bitcoin is a revolutionary advance in capital preservation. Look at this: consumption assets, traditional capital assets, digital capital. 1 years, 10 years, 100, 1,000. And so what he's saying is all of these are used, and you can see this, guys. I've been looking at a bunch of supercars because I want to buy something next year, like maybe 300,000, maybe 500 if I get really ambitious, like an Aventador or a Revolto if I can get a cheap enough one. They're like 800K now. But the crazy thing is, all these supercars, they used to hold their value really well. They're plummeting. They're plummeting in value. And I don't know about yachts, but I can tell you these are. Fiats are plummeting in value. These things that used to be, normally cars are depreciable assets, right? Like they lose value. But supercars could maintain those. They could even gain them. They're not anymore. But all these asset categories like art, gold, land, supercars, all this stuff is diminishing away and it's going to Bitcoin. I 100% agree.
revolutionary advance in capital.
And it's going to enrich the world while it happens too. Lower, you got to remember, Trump said greater than 50% reduction in energy costs in his first year. That's going to help the world too. CleanSpark again, Schultz was so outspoken on X, high short interest on CleanSpark and wanting to burn the shorts. Yeah, you're right? Like, that's a good point, Benedict. If he doesn't have a killer announcement tonight, that would be hugely disappointing. I would agree. I agree. That's a really good point.
Capital preservation.
Yeah, Rolexes are dropping too, right, Cape? Is that what you're saying? I think Rolex values are going down. Is that not true? Let me know. I don't pay attention to the watch market. I like watches, but I'm too cheap for a Rolex. So let me know what you think there. I'm definitely getting a Roadster. That's just going to happen no matter what. I just don't think that's going to be available in 2025. If it is, then that's what I get. Oh, this is a beautiful chart. We're going to stop here. This is one of my favorite fucking charts. Favorite fucking charts in the entire world. Right here. I'm going to probably make a separate post about this chart. So Bitcoin growth, 2 trillion plus 200 plus trillion in 21 years. This is 2045 total global asset value. Now, this is calculations moving forward. This is not what it is today, but it's showing what it's going to be because the dollar money printing is still going to happen. This is brilliant. This is so much better than the Bitcoin maxis and their projections. They annoy me sometimes, but because they're so maximalist, they lose sight of reality. But look at this, $280 trillion business in 2045 is what he's saying for Bitcoin. And you can see that it's consumed real estate, equities, bonds, and money supply. But it hasn't consumed all of it, but it's a great store of value. I 100% agree with this projection. This is spot fucking on.
The asset class itself is growing from trillions to hundreds of trillions of dollars, and it is backed by digital power along with political and economic power. It makes sense for Microsoft to be powered by digital capital.
Dude, they have so much money. Even just putting $1 billion in Bitcoin would be a massive, it would send a signal to the rest of the world. I don't know that they're going to do it. Again, their biggest investor is Vanguard. Vanguard is very much vanguarding against having Bitcoin be on people's balance sheets. They don't like it. They're very old school. So I don't think it's going to happen, but it'll be fascinating to see if it does.
Bitcoin's the best asset you can own. The numbers speak for themselves.
I love this. I love that he shows Microsoft doing shit based upon Bitcoin's annualized asset performance over the last 4 years. I love that.
It makes a lot more sense to buy Bitcoin.
Microsoft by 10x annual. Bitcoin is, so this is the annual number, at least right now. This is a little bit of cheating, right? This is performance since August 10th of 2020. So again, still just looks way better.
Bitcoin than to buy your own stock back or to hold Bitcoin rather than holding bonds.
And I love that he referenced the fact that stock buybacks are fairly worthless in comparison to buying Bitcoin, because the Bitcoin over time will go up in value, whereas your stock, you're only buying it back to keep the price from falling, which isn't great. It's kind of a way to help keep your stock more consistent. But when you have a major economic downturn, it doesn't help you for shit. So I agree. This is a much better thought process of owning Bitcoin instead. Superior performance requires Bitcoin digital. Look at MicroStrategy's performance. This is, again, as of August 10th, 2020. NVIDIA pales in comparison. Tesla pales in comparison. Google, Meta, Apple. Microsoft way down at the bottom of the list. It's almost embarrassing.
If you're going to outperform, you're going to need Bitcoin. And those bonds are undermining your options market and your equity liquidity. Luckily, you have an alternative. Public support for Bitcoin is surging.
I love that he's talking about the bond market real quick here. Let me just jump back. The number of public entities holding Bitcoin is surging. ETFs, countries, private companies, public companies, mining companies. People are listening to what he's saying and they're like, oh, it's not a good enough pitch. But the data says a lot, right? Again, just looking at this, the data says a lot.
Public support for Bitcoin is surging, as is political support, as is support for the U.S. Bitcoin Strategic Reserve.
Oh, if that happens.
As is Wall Street support. And the President of the United States says,
never sell your Bitcoin.
That's why we're entering year one of the crypto renaissance. And you have a choice to make. Cling to the past or embrace the future. Divest billions of dollars and slow your growth rate. Invest billions of dollars and accelerate your growth rate. You've surrendered hundreds of billions of dollars of capital over the past 5 years, and you've just amplified the risks that your own shareholders face. If you want to escape that vicious cycle, you're going to need an asset without counterparty risk. What if you could buy a $100 billion company growing faster than Microsoft for 1 times revenue? What if you could keep...
This is such a great pitch. I'm sorry. I don't know if they'll take the bite, but this is so good.
Doing it every single year. It's time for Microsoft to evaluate its Bitcoin strategic options. We've created an open source model. You can plug in your own assumptions. You can convert your cash flows.
God, this is so good.
Dividends, and your buybacks and your debt into Bitcoin. If you do that, you'll add hundreds of dollars to the stock price. You can create trillions of dollars of enterprise value. You can strip away risk from your shareholders.
Here's the deal. Even if Microsoft doesn't take this up because of the bias of like their number one investor, Vanguard, it doesn't fucking matter. Other companies are going to look at this. This is an open source model. They can plug in their own assumptions. They can do the math and they can figure out whether or not they want to participate. And it's going to happen en masse.
And you can prosper on the Bitcoin standard. So do the right thing for the world and adopt Bitcoin.
Fuck yeah. I love that man so much. He is brilliant. Somebody was saying, Arcadian said Bitfarms just announced a November production update. Okay, let's take a look. I don't know if this is better or worse. Let me know. Bitfarms November production, 12.8 exahash operational. Announced Bitmain miner upgrade T21s to S21 Pros. Appointed new independent director Andrew Chang. 900 plus 940 watt megawatt portfolio for 2025. So, what do we have? Bitfarms November 2024 production. So October. Total BTC earned was 204 versus 236, so dropping. Month-end operating exahash, 12.8 versus 11.5, so a decent uptick in production in exahash, but again, BTC earned not great. Average operating exahash, 10.7, operating capacity, yeah, I don't know. It's not great. It's not great. We'll see how their numbers are plugging in here. Let's look. We got 5 minutes till the bell too. Let me make sure that I am live for that. MSTX playing with fire, or are we ripping? I don't know over the short term. The next day, I can't tell you. I think we're going to go up, but could be wrong. Short time frames are hard to predict. Alexander Hill hopes shorts get ripped with CleanSpark today. This week, I have 5,000 shares, average of it's 33%. Green Bean, Bitcoin has a dip at the start of every month for the last 6. Yeah, I mean, that could be a thing, or could not be a thing. You guys have to realize seasonality is huge right now. If you look at seasonality for Bitcoin after the halving, in the halving year, it's up at the end of the year. If you look at it for, Turkey Day was a bloodbath. It can be even during having events. But outside of that, it's up. Maybe Jesse's pregnant. I'm not. I can confirm that I'm not pregnant. I'm a dude. I have a penis. So not possible. Now, but thank you for the weird comment, Sealess. I appreciate you. But what was I talking about? Bitcoin. Bitcoin, you have seasonality after the halving, helping out. And then also you have an election year helping out. All the seasonality points to going up. All of it. Let me see. Nam Dotton, Jesse, a.k.a. Rock Peck Poppin. Oh, now I'm getting back to these other comments. Okay, I need to move on. CleanSpark announcing their earnings after hours on Friday and making it on Monday, not giving shorts time to get out seems suspicious from management. Oh, yeah, maybe. Matthew Purdy would love some analysis on Venom and Fang if you can. I'm running options, and your thoughts on oil and gas in general would be good. I think producers for oil and gas will go up, or I should say the service industry will go up. Producers will probably struggle. Right? That kind of makes sense because prices are going to come down. That'll help the service industry. They can lower prices, but they can lower it at a rate where their margins are still really good. So yeah, we'll see. Alex Garcia, BK01. Wow, SMCI news. What's happening with that one? I heard you guys talking a couple times in chat about it. We've got about 3 minutes. I'm going to... And then the market opens up. I'm real quickly just going to pop this down. It looks like Tesla's still up 2% in pre-market. Let's just look over here and see how we're doing in other stuff. CleanSpark is up 4.5, guys. Woof. That's interesting. Did we get CleanSpark news? Yeah, they could be starting to cover on CleanSpark. They might be getting... Yeah, they didn't have a lot of days to cover. That's a really good point. DLO's up, Square's up, MSTX, MSTU. Okay, so we're seeing those bounce a little bit. That's good. Tesla up, MicroStrategy. Looks like it could be a good day. Could be a good day. Let's look over here. We got economic data again coming out. We'll have the S&P Global Manufacturing here in a second. That's actually at 8:45. So let's get to the morning bell here. We'll hang out here for a little bit. Are altcoins going to outperform Bitcoin miners from here? No. No, guys, look at it this way. Bitcoin miners and altcoins, same shit. Okay? Same shit. They're both the higher risk, further down the risk curve items. They'll perform well around the same time.
Things were going. David, we have news this morning for Supermicro, which has been a company that is directly
SMCI.
involved with NVIDIA. They don't seem to know how fast things are going. Everything is just moving so quickly, and their companies, Supermicro, by the way, this CFO is out, and that's very positive.
Yes, we should mention.
So maybe the chip sector is going to get that bounce. I was talking about in a post about how I thought the semis were going to break down underneath. That's what it looks like it should do. But between Intel news and Supermicro, I don't know. It seems to be going the other way.
Supermicro has also completed that review by an independent special committee. Interestingly, aided by the forensic accounting firm Secretariat Advisors. Who knew?
I didn't.
We've been talking about the great horse, and there it would be once again.
Well, they better be really quick because when you do one of those independents, they don't like that.
Evidence of misconduct.
Let's speed this up. So, Casper, I don't care too much about job openings and any correlation you might see in the S&P 500. That's not really something I'm too interested in.
All of it began when their longtime accountant, Ernst & Young, resigned and said they couldn't support the financials as they were reported at the time. Stock plummeted.
Greenberg points out the special committee is one person.
Yeah, I was going to say that the farce of the special committee is what you got to focus on.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't care. I thought the pitch is great. I think the data is great. It's just what they do with it.
Now, having unfortunately been involved in some
All right, here we are.
with the special
ding, ding, ding.
Government does not like self-exoneration.
Let's look over here.
The SEC will call you and say, oh, really? Really? Your special committee?
All right, we're going to let that kind of play out. We're going to look over here and see how the market is doing with the watch list. It'll take a second to update. I thought the presentation was great, but I'm looking for the substance of it, not like his delivery. So I look at it differently. I think it was brilliant. I think if, again, Microsoft is probably predestined to not take advantage of this. just because of Vanguard being the number one investor and them hating Bitcoin. They don't. You got to remember, they don't offer any of the ETFs, guys. They're not a great company when it comes to that. Let's look. AVAX is taking the lead. We got shitcoins at the top. We got Square breaking out. We were talking about how that could happen last week. It looks like it is. MSTX operating at 5%. What is MSTR? Up 2.5. Hey, it's actually operating where it's supposed to. MSTU is behind, though. It's only doing 3%. So not looking great. We'll see if that can start to come back. These things, they're having problems with being able to balance out their derivatives for these things to get the solid 2x performance that they're looking for. Kind of sucks. It jockeys back and forth though between MSTU and MSTX. I don't know if there's a better one. I think they're both having the same issue, and it's just different days. But we'll see if the performance can get better. They're up to 3.5 now, so they're starting to creep a little bit. We'll see. I don't know. Tesla, 3%. Wow. Today's going to be a good day, guys. So MicroStrategy is only up 2 now. So MSTU is looking a little better at 3.5. And then MSTX is outperforming at 5. So we're seeing some jockeying around. I'd say it's better than last week. I think they're trying to get the stuff under control. Yeah, guys, everything looks like it's up today, and I like seeing CleanSpark. CleanSpark's only up 2.51. We'll see if that lasts, but it looks like it's a good start to the week. Let me just keep rolling through here. I'll kind of leave it on here for a second. Actually, might even switch over to the heat map for a second, too. Let me just do that. We should look at other things, too, guys. We got stuff to talk about with the bond market. Whoa, hey, 1,000 people here. If you guys could hit the like, it'd be greatly appreciated. These streams are getting bigger and bigger every day. I'm loving it, and I really appreciate you guys spending time with me in the mornings. It's the only show I do anymore. I will be doing CleanSpark earnings this afternoon, though, and I'm loving what's happening with Tesla. Today's going to be a good day, guys. Lots of money coming in. I like seeing Baba losing, too. I don't hate any of that. I think this is looking like a healthy market. We will have economic data coming out in a little bit here. S&P Global Manufacturing PMI comes out at 845. Then at 9, we get ISM data, construction spending. That should all be kind of fun. That's pretty much it for the day. We do have tax revenue for Argentina coming in at 6 o'clock tonight. Very excited about that. So it looks like we'll be done with economic data by 9 today. So it should be nice and early. Let's see if the Saylor tracker that we have, or I should say MicroStrategy tracker, is showing any changes in the NAV. Nothing yet. Still sitting at 2.41x. Does say Bitcoin has been acquired. This could be legit, though. I don't know. I don't know if it's taking in the latest calculation. The prices went up, though. So with the price going up and their Bitcoin going up, the NAV could be settling close to this. It's very possible. Real quickly here, though, I want to look at some other stuff. So we covered the MicroStrategy thoughts and Michael Saylor. I think he did a brilliant job. He didn't sound super excited. Michael Saylor never does. You got to realize he's pitched this about 1 billion times to people. It gets really old, I'm sure, after a while. Again, Core Scientific doing convertible senior note offerings. They didn't buy Bitcoin with theirs, though. And this company is, I don't know. I think they're a mess. They've already went bankrupt once. I probably need to go over miners again in like a separate thing. Ooh, here's one I wanted to show, though, guys. So the HODL Top 60, publicly traded companies with Bitcoin on the balance sheet. These are ones that could do more offerings, convertible debt offerings, share dilution, whatever. They could buy more Bitcoin. And you can see CleanSpark on here. They haven't done one yet, but these are guys all holding Bitcoin on their balance sheets. This is pretty awesome for publicly traded companies. If you would have even told me this like 3 years ago, I don't think I would have believed you. So it's very exciting to see how many are already doing this. Oh, yeah, this is a good one, too. So this guy right here, this is William Next Level. Who is he? Oh, he's just a former CBOE, Chicago Board of Exchange, floor trader. So he might know something about, I don't know, bonds and investments. He said, people need to understand Saylor is allowed to continue these Bitcoin purchases only because there's an insatiable, look up the definition of insatiable if you don't understand what it means, for MicroStrategy bonds in the bond market. The bond market is bigger than the stock market, $150 billion or $1 trillion, guys. The bond market wants Bitcoin. They can't get enough. They know Bitcoin is the best investment of this generation. Saylor is a genius for giving them a vehicle to continuously participate in Bitcoin's run higher. Again, these guys don't even care. They'll buy this shit in a bear market. because of the opportunity it gives them for outperformance in the years ahead. I don't think people realize this. You just don't realize this. And not only do we know now with Mara that that MicroStrategy could just use the debt offerings not just to buy Bitcoin, but to pay for their older offerings. This is something I just don't think people are understanding. We're going to make a lot of money off of MicroStrategy, guys, and Bitcoin, all of it. We're going to make a lot of money off of it. I hope people think about that and can understand what's coming, because it's fucking awesome. All right, let's keep going here. See if there's anything else interesting under this section. Charles Edwards says the real FOMO begins above 100,000 in Bitcoin. I agree. We're at 96,323 right now. Getting a little bit of a bounce, huh? Getting a little bit of a bounce. We like that, don't we? And if we look at the volume profile over here, we got the bounce right where we needed it, guys. And I don't know if the volume's going to come back. Why is my volume? Where my volume at? Where my volume at? It's trying to calculate. Oh, I'm gonna let it figure it out. But the volume too should show that this is a really great bounce zone. We'll see if we can make it, but I think we're going to. And I think when we break 100K, that's going to be huge. I think Christmas time's going to be a lot of fun as people realize how much money they can make. This is me. I said we're in phase 2 where non-Bitcoin large cap cryptos pump next. Then come the mid and low caps as people dial down the risk curve. So all I was saying here is shit. The zombie list. That's what James was pointing out. Look at what was pumping yesterday. Litecoin, EOS, Algo, XRP, ADA. This is the zombie list. This is the dead coin list, and it's all doing really good. So that's normal, actually. That's what happens. This is all a part of the process. And then Dennis Porter saying, I just got off a call with one of the most powerful people I know. There is a country who wants to introduce strategic Bitcoin reserve legislation as quickly as possible, but they aren't stopping there. They want more. This is just the beginning. Gradually, then suddenly. I agree. I was pointing out yesterday to subscribers, I think, or maybe I just gave this to everybody, Bitcoin dominance looks so ready to break down through its multi-year support trend line. Again, it's right down here, guys. We can see what it's at today. Let's actually just pull it up. Take a look. And again, let's see. This is performance by day, right? We're still in today. Tesla looking beautiful. Up 3.24% on the day. I'll be selling slowly on that one because I expect it to just continue to go higher. Let's actually look at Tesla's chart before we go further. We've created a little bit of a gap. We could fill that. Probably will, maybe. I don't know. We got gaps down here too. But not quite to my target level up here of 390, where I'll be selling a little bit more of my calls, but sitting really good at that level. Let me hop over here. What else were we going to look at? We were going to look at something a second ago. Can somebody remind me? Mara down. Yeah, Mara down. That makes sense though, right? I mean, that's kind of what happens when these guys make announcements. Sometimes they go down. I think that's actually a great thing for Mara, and I think if people should be buying it right now. I don't know. We'll see if I do. But again, you got to realize too, Mara did really good last week, guys. If we jump into here, Mara's down, but I mean, look at this. We had this wicked break above the 200. We were in the 19 range. We went all the way up to 30. So we had a 50% plus increase in a very short period of time. So is it normal for Mara to backtest the .382? I think so, right? I think that's pretty normal. I don't think there's anything crazy out of line there. Bitcoin is getting ready to go ape shit. I hope people don't get scared out by short-term movements. CleanSpark is the most red. Is it? Maybe shorts are piling back on. I mean, it's up 2.23% today. What was the comment? CleanSpark. Well, I mean, CleanSpark might almost be red because it's what? 2.23%. But we've got other miners that are super fucking red. And shitcoins. I mean, Mara's down almost 6%, so I wouldn't worry too much about CleanSpark. Bitfarm's down 2.56%. They need to be bought out. Riot down 2%. Cypher down 1.64%. I think I'd worry about some of the other miners before I'd worry about CleanSpark right now. My 2 cents. All right, let's look here. So we did get some data. Let's go back here, or will be in 4 minutes. So we'll check the economic calendar in a second for that manufacturing data. Let's do some other stuff, though. Let's look at how likely we are to see a Fed rate cut in December. I think it's still really high. Thank you to the 1,100 people that are here. Let's refresh real quick and look at the CME Fed Watch tool. And then we're going to look at a bunch of stuff. We're going to look at bonds. We're going to look at all kinds of things. Still a 62.2% chance of a 25 BIP rate cut. That's good. Let's look at other stuff, though. Let's dial down and just start looking at everything because we don't do this enough anymore. The dollar's up 0.7% today. So the dollar being up is why you're seeing the market probably struggling at least a little bit with some of these things that have run really hard. And how is the market doing? Let's look at the S&P. S&P up 0.17%, not struggling too bad. NASDAQ up 0.68%, doing better. Like to see that. And then small caps, though. Small caps struggling today. So if there's an area that's struggling because of the fact that the dollar is gaining strength, it's that. Let's look at the dollar gaining strength. Here, 1 second. I need some water. Might need to take a break in a second here. And then step back. Again, Bitcoin looking strong. 96.4. It's jumped almost $1,000 in a short period of time. Let's keep dialing down, though. We want to look at the rest of the dollar's impact on the rest of the world. How's it doing against the Japanese yen? The dollar has gained strength against the yen, but again, not too crazy. We're seeing it still kind of, keeping off those high levels. We do have Japan making the decision about raising rates. I think even this week, that will be very fascinating to see how they do. If they raise rates, it could be very interesting for the markets. And additional unwind of the Japanese carry trade. I think a lot of it's already unwound, though. So maybe that ends up being a nothing burger, but it could cause some short-term shock. I've said this before, but the Chinese yuan is getting ready to fucking lose bad against the dollar. This will strengthen the dollar, but I don't know that this is any kind of major market issue at all. The ruble. The ruble is losing against the dollar. It had its highest monthly close. The dollar had its highest monthly close against the ruble going back to ever, the entirety of time and space. So you can see how the ruble's done since 1995. It has not done well. So the ruble is getting decimated. The yuan is getting close to obliterated. It will be. And then we'll see what happens with Japan. If there's anything that you need to worry about over the next week or two, it is the Japanese yen carry trade being an issue. That's going to be the big thing that you got to watch out for. All right, let's keep rolling here. Let's look at gold. Are people safe havening into gold? No, not really. Oil. U.S. oil continuing to fall at 68. I think we're getting ready to roll over. This is a very positive thing for the U.S. economy. Again, the pains in China, the pains in Europe, in the UK are causing less consumption. That benefits people in the United States with an economy that has not rolled over, has a low tax environment, embracing Bitcoin, embracing capitalism, embracing meritocracy, embracing all the things that you want to embrace. Let's look at bonds. Now, the MOVE index, the bond volatility index, I've told you before that when this thing breaks down, stocks do well. This tweezer top is the wickedest one I've ever seen. History, again, from whether it be the 2008 the 2020 pandemic, the 2008 great financial crisis, they all tell us the same thing. Bond volatility will drop and markets will outperform. I do expect that to be true. And if we look over here at the VIX, the stock volatility index, not the short-term daily shit, but the VIX, it continues to look great. Again, it's had a major crush. And if we look at, again, on the VIX, the pandemic and the great financial crisis, and we can go back further on the VIX, right? We can look at the dot-com bubble. We can look at what happened in that, how it kind of reached its peak on the VIX, and then there was kind of a double top on that, so that's a little weird, but then it went down and it did really well. But every other time since the 2008 great financial crisis tells us that we're likely to see stock volatility going down, which means markets go up. So the bond volatility is telling us markets go up. Stock volatility is telling us markets go up. Let's look at the 2-year. The 2-year is slightly up today, but well off its high of 4.4. Let's look at the 10-year because that's the one that really matters. Let's see how it's doing today. I need to get some of these on my board. I got another board. I got to set them up. I'm still trying to set up my monitors. I got so much shit to do. But again, you can see where we retraced and we came off that high that we were seeing in the 10-year and it started to roll over. I expect more of this to happen. I expect us to break underneath the 200 moving average on this. We're seeing this is a rollover. Higher lows, lower lows. So you're seeing, I should say this, lower highs, boom, 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 right? All these are lower. And then at the same time, we're seeing lower lows. Now, if we can break through this, then we got a problem, right? That's maybe the Japanese carry trade unwinding or something getting weird. I don't even know. I don't even think that would hurt yields on the 10-year bond. I think this is going lower. We've got divergence going back to March of 2022 that shows that it's going lower. Enron back? What? I'm sorry, what? CLSK pricing is great news. Now I'm even more nervous about the call. CLSK ripping. CleanSpark is ripping. All right, let's look real quick. So again, this could be people trying to jump out. I like that. I don't think that's a bad thing. Maybe if you're looking to lighten your load a little bit, this is the time to do it. I've got faith in CleanSpark, so I'm going to let it ride. That could be a mistake. We'll see. We'll see. But yeah, so the 10-year and the 2-year, again, falling off their highs, up a little bit on today. But I think the trend is down. I think the trend is down, and I think you're going to see more and more of that. I think the bond volatility index and the stock volatility index are indications of what's happening. We haven't looked at the put-call ratio in a while. Nobody's got insurance. Nobody gives a fuck. Okay, that's interesting. All right, let's look at broader stocks and see if there's anything we want to jump into. Let's look at the CleanSpark chart again. I don't even know if we pulled that one up today. So we are above the first fib line and establishing support on it. I like that. I really like that. I think that's a good sign. I think we're short time, guys, between some amazing price action and Bitcoin. I think it's just a matter of time. And again, my high target, where I'm looking to get out of all my options, 40. Still a ways off. Get out of maybe a decent amount of them at 29. Oh, we got our global PMI data. Let's get to it. 49.7 above forecast of 48.8 and consensus of 48.8. This is beautiful stuff, guys. This is showing that the economy is getting stronger. We have more economic data coming out in 10 minutes. I'm actually real quickly going to get some coffee and maybe get a little bit of honey. And so I'm gonna back up the truck here, and we're gonna let Rick Santelli talk for a second about some of this economic data. Let me know if there's any revisions to it, guys. I'll be right back, okay? Right back.
Bottom of your screen. For more, let's get to Rick Santelli. Hey, Rick.
Yes, this is the S&P Global Manufacturing PMI, and it's a final read. So we removed the mid-month read, which was 48.8, which actually was the best going back to July of this year, but it did improve, 49.7. It now moves back a month in its comp. It's the best number since June, and it's still the fifth in a row under 50. When was the last time it was above 50? You guessed it, June, when it was slightly above 50, our current comp. We still have the ISM PMIs and construction spending at the top of the hour. Interest rates are up because Friday we saw them drop. If you go back to Turkey Day, we're basically unchanged, 44.22 on a 2-year. We're up a half a dozen versus Friday's close, early close, and we're up about 7 basis points in a 10-year. Squawk on the Street will return after a very short break.
I'm back. All right, I'm back. Sorry, guys. I left you with a dead screen. I apologize for that. It's freezing in my house, and I just figured out why. It's wintertime, and the air conditioning is on. So that'll do it. Are we crushing CleanSpark earnings or what? I hope so, bro. I hope so. I don't know if we're going to or not. Time will tell on that. I'm going to skip a bunch of... Soul Strategies is up. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. Square's breaking out. That doesn't surprise me either. Let me see here real quick. Let's look. That manufacturing data was great, guys. We're going to look at more. Did Rick say anything that I didn't say? Did he talk about revisions or anything? Did you guys get anything interesting out of that? Square, nice, dude. We talked about this last week. Again, inverse head and shoulders. The measured move for this, guys, on Square is $200. So, congrats to all Square owners. You deserved it. You've been very fucking patient. And this thing's going to start taking off. XRP is exploding again. I don't even know if I have. Do I have XRP on my chart list? I really got to get my... Yeah, okay. I got to get these things updated on Discord. I have not done that. Yeah, so here's the thing. I would not buy this. I would not buy this. Yeah, I wouldn't. This is so dangerous right now. Now, don't get me wrong. It could go higher.
Apply.
Something retarded could happen.
Final month of the
I'm
year
going to mute this real quick.
Take a look.
Here, one second. I'm going to mute that and leave that. So XRP is a $150 billion market cap. What do you think deserves a higher market cap? XRP or MicroStrategy that has over 400,000 Bitcoin out of a 21 million supply? Which one do you think deserves to have the higher market cap? Do you think it's this one? Or do you think it's this one? The one that's beaten up, down 0.36% on the day. $87 billion company, right? And XRP is twice the valuation of it, almost. Ugh, this is like a no-brainer. Will PayPal follow Square? Yes, I think so. Yeah, dude, my heater, it's I got a Nest, and it was set, it's normally set to just heat because it's fucking winter, and it's like 10 degrees outside, colder with wind chill. And for some reason, it was set to cooling only. So it had dropped to 66 in the house. Not very nice at all. Jesse, if you don't have a ton of money to invest, what do you think about a weekly or monthly buy in Bitcoin, even if it's not much? Oh, dude, DCA is the way to go, bro. Just buy. I would put it in Tesla and Bitcoin personally. If you don't have a lot of money, just keep building it. Keep building it. Spend less. Figure out how to make more money, and then go. But yeah, XRP guys, I would not. This would be a great time to get out of the XRP trade. My 2 cents. Remember when I told people to get out of MicroStrategy up here, and then I bought here and then here. Okay. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, this is what's happening with XRP. This is not a $150 billion cap. Could it go higher? Maybe. Apparently, MicroStrategy NAV is 1.8. Did they adjust it? I mean, it should. That makes more sense. I don't know if this tracker has adjusted for it. Let me see here. Yeah, I don't think this tracker that I'm looking at has adjusted for it, but it wouldn't surprise me if it's 1.8. I could see sub 2, which would be a great. This would just be a great price for it. Again, guys, more economic data coming out. Oh, that honey really does help the throat. Coming out in 3.5 minutes here. We will have more economic data. The data looks sweet, though, guys. The data shows a strong economy in the United States. And then again, Black Friday, record-breaking sales on Black Friday. Record-breaking. I'm probably going to pull up a video about that in a second. But if Black Friday is record-breaking, if our manufacturing sector is coming back, if our taxes are going down, if all these things are happening, maybe the world isn't falling apart. Sold XRP yesterday to buy Pepe. You're swinging your shit. Nice. Good job, chick, bro. Alex Garcia, I have $20 reoccurring buy for Tesla on Tesla and BTC building every day. Yeah, just keep doing it, man. These are going to be some of the biggest companies in the world. Do what you can to contribute. to your portfolio. Victor Hernandez, Jesse, I want to understand this convertible clean spark stuff. Why is it better? It's way better, right? So when you're diluting shares, you're literally saying, oh, hey, we just printed 30% more shares. And then people go, oh, shit, that sucks. So if you just printed 30% more shares and you used it to cover expenses, then what does that do to the share price? Oh, it drops it substantially, right? Because you're covering like OPEX, you're covering like operating expenses, you're covering administrative stuff, you're covering purchasing mining equipment that will mine and create revenue in the future, but it's not accretive and it's not really giving you a lot out of the gate. It's just diluting shareholder value and making the stock go down. So that sucks. But if you're doing convertible bond offerings that go out years and you're using that to buy Bitcoin, something that goes up in value, I mean, if you look at it over a 4-year time horizon and you forget about the halving event and you just say, hey, we're going to make it to where we repay this debt in 4 or 5 years, then you're making it to where you're not diluting the shareholder value. And if you buy Bitcoin with some of that, you're actually giving yourself something that's going to go up in value over time. And again, maybe you save some money on the side too, in order to be able to make it to where you don't have to worry about diluting shareholders to pay for your operating expenses and don't have to sell your fucking Bitcoin. Seems like a no-brainer to me, especially when you can do more of these in the future for a bond market that is desperate to get exposure to Bitcoin because they vastly outperform every other bond out there. Why wouldn't you do this? That's my take. XRP going to 1,000 apparently. XRP folks try. That's because they're fucking retarded. These bag holders and like half these people are fucking retarded. If XRP is going to 1,000, then what? You have a 400x plus or almost 400x increase, which would put it towards what? The biggest company on earth. Yay. Hey guys, XRP, the biggest company on earth, surpassing Tesla by a wide margin. Aren't we excited for XRP's future at $1,000 a coin? Oh, and they're diluting the shit out of it too. So it's actually really horrible. But you know, if you're an XRP brony, all these like shit coin holders that love their shit coins just annoy the fuck out of me. The only one I think that's worth much of anything nowadays is Solana. And a lot of the others are trash too. But I own them. At least I know I'm owning trash. And then I'm trying to get a multiple to be able to buy more Bitcoin in the future. I don't know why people fall in love with this garbage. Jesus Coronado, do you think it can drop to 290 for MicroStrategy? It could. Theoretically, that could happen. I don't think it should happen. It doesn't mean it won't. So, again, we know there's a gap down here. So, could MicroStrategy drop further? Yes. Would I take advantage of that and probably buy another $250,000 to $500,000 in MSTU and MSTX? I probably would. MSTU almost 3x on down day, of course. Yeah, if you're looking for the lowest number that it's going to be returning on a down day, then you'll probably find one that's a pretty low number. Again, they're having issues with keeping these things at 2x. It is what it is. They're not the best vehicles in the world. They could be a lot better. Lol told you honey is life. Yeah, it definitely helps. Especially my house. My house is so dry. It's wintertime. It's an old house. I bought this thing for $102,000. It's 2,700 square feet. I bought it a long ass time ago. I need to upgrade to my multi-million-dollar mansion. That's the goal for this next year. Michael Krause, buddy, what up? Hey, Jesse, cold in my house. Thermostat says 72, but since I walked back from Walgreens, I'm a popsicle. That'll do it. Yeah, it's cold in the Midwest. Let's see here. What else we got? DCA into good companies and S&P. Don't try to be a day trader. Buy good companies and hold. Yeah, that's a good way to do it. Thoughts on converting my XRP to SOL? I mean, again, always think about tax obligations, Gino, but I think XRP is as high as it should be. It's actually bigger right now. If you look at XRP, it's bigger than SOL, and that I can't justify that in any way. If I drag this little bubble over here, let's see if I can get her over. Come on, SOL. Get over there, buddy. Get over there, buddy. Go up here. Find your way between the big BTC. Yeah, if I just look at this, like, look at this. This is fucking retarded. XRP is the banker's coin. It's absolute fucking trash. And it is larger for a cap than Solana. Negative 32 degrees Celsius here in Alberta. All right, you're making me feel better. Thanks, MKBG. That's insane. All right, do we get more data? We got more data, guys. More data. Let's go back over here. How are we doing? ISM. What do we got for ISM? We got a 48.4 for November. That is better than the 47.2 and the 47.5. So we're in less constrict territory right now. We're actually getting to an expansion, which I love. Huge uptick when compared to what things were at. Again, kind of still bottom fishing, but if we look over here, nice little expectation beat that we're seeing here. We need to get back above 50, but this is good. This is the right start. We'll listen to Rick here in a second. So that's the ISM manufacturing. ISM manufacturing employment is 48.1. So we're seeing a tick up in employment. Do you think that that's maybe related to us being really pro manufacturing? I think it probably is. I think you're looking at expectations in the manufacturing sector of more sales in the future going up a lot. I love that. This is a good number. So instead of contraction territory, we might actually be looking at expansion. Boy, does the manufacturing sector deserve that after a very rough number of years. Look at this. Even 2015 to 16, a year and a half roughly, sucked, negative territory. The pandemic, horrific. Before the pandemic, I mean, July of 2019, we were already getting ready to go into negative territory, into contraction. And we didn't even really start to get to a decent level until the late part of December of 2020. So that's a long ass time. Incredibly negative numbers all the way down here to 28.2. Manufacturing sector just getting crushed. And then, gosh, it's been kind of shit since April of 2022, or I should say May of 2022, where it's barely been positive at all and mostly negative. If we can see an actual turnaround in this sector, employment's probably going to be the canary in the coal mine, I think, because what area does best first? It's going to be hiring. So that's cool. Bitcoin retracing a little bit, trying to find support at that 95-ish plus level again. So just kind of hanging out for now. I think it's going to continue to find support there. We'll see. Construction spending month over month, 0.4% versus 0.2% expected. So we're seeing construction spending picking up again. These are good data points. They could hurt the chance for the Fed to lower rates. I don't think they will, though. I think that there'll be a narrative about that. But let's be very clear. The Fed has to lower rates, and the Fed is not worried about inflation. Even though they might say they were worried about it, they're not, because they can see what's happening in Europe. They can see what's happening in China, and they know there's a slowdown happening in those areas, and they know they want America to be the focus of strength. And they want everybody investing here, and they want our economy to be doing well. And since they don't have to worry about inflation because of all these other countries driving down the price of commodities and goods, they can lower rates, and that's what's going to happen. ISM manufacturing new orders, 50.4. Expansion territory on ISM manufacturing new orders. Forecast was 47.6. Blew that fucking away. Finally getting up into expansion territory. That's what we want to see. Manufacturing prices, 50.3. 50.3. Manufacturing prices were expected at 55.2 and 54.9. Through the floor. Through the floor. Beautiful data points. We got to listen to Rick. What is Rick? What is my boy saying about this? What's my Santelli saying? Do you got any feels on this one, Ricky? Let's see. Let's listen to Rick, guys. This is beautiful. I think this is fucking great.
Get the street's reaction to the news and discuss what comes next for the struggling chip maker in just a few minutes. Retail front and center after sales estimates from Adobe, MasterCard, Shopify, and more come in all positive for the holiday shopping weekend. And today, a big day for online shopping. We're going to take a look at what is at stake. And then longtime Tesla bear Roth Capital finally upgrades the stock to buy. We're going to speak with the analyst behind the call in just a moment. Meanwhile, Stifel raises its price target on Tesla by more than $100 to $411 per share. A lot of capitulation today on that one.
Let's get some ISMs and construction spending with Rick Santelli. Hey, Rick.
Hi, Carl. Indeed, construction spending for the month of October, expected to be up a couple of tenths of a percent, is coming in double expectations, up 0.4%, and that follows at least right now an unrevised up 0.1 last month. This makes this number the best month-over-month positive change going to April of this year. Now, ISM, manufacturing for the month of November, 48.4. Interesting number. It is better than anticipated, sequentially higher, the best since June, but still the 8th consecutive number under 50. If we look at prices paid, it is over 50 at 50.3. It is much lower than expectations, which in prices paid is a good thing. 50.3 is the lightest level. Well, just going back to September when it was 48.3, and that's quite important, is that we've seen some lower numbers, but it is still moving in the right direction with respect to where it was last month at 54.8. New orders, 50.4, 50.4. That now breaks the 7 consecutive readings under 50, obviously being over 50. 50.4 is the best read going back to March when it was 51.4. And finally, employment, which is important because, of course, at the end of this week, we'll be getting the big jobs report. 48.1, better than expectations, like all the other numbers, sequentially higher, all except prices paid. And this one at 48.1,
that's all good.
It is now the 6th consecutive read under 50, but it is the best read since it was over 50, and that was in May when it was 51.1. We see interest rates have reversed some of the Friday drops that we saw that Sarah was referencing. We're up about 6 basis points on 2s and 10s. Sarah, back to you.
All right, kicking off the week with some good economic data. Thank you, Rick Santelli. As far as what else is coming this week, we got the jobs report on Friday, as Rick just mentioned. We'll get some of the ADP private sector reads. Before that, the read on services, which has been the strong part of the economy, coming later this week. A ton of Fed speak as well this week, and some important consumer earnings. Kroger comes at the end of the week, Lululemon, Campbell's, Hewlett-Packard Enterprise, the Beige Book, which is always good color from what the Fed districts are seeing across the country in terms of inflation and access to lending and the economy. We know the Fed pays really close attention to that. But guys,
okay, real quickly. So somebody was asking about the 10-to-1 stock split for MSTU. So there is a few things, and it is a 10-to-1 stock split, right? That's what we're seeing. I don't know. I haven't seen the news on it, but here's what it's saying. Let me just pull it over here real quick. This is from Grok, okay? It says a 10-to-1 stock split for MSTU would have several impacts. Share price reduction. The primary effect of a 10-to-1 stock split is that the price per share will be reduced by a factor of 10. If MSTU is trading at 150, yeah, we all know this, right? Makes the stock more accessible to a broader range of investors, particularly retail investors. So it's just saying that the lower price can make it more accessible. I don't think that's a thing that we need to worry about. But it says increases in share volume. The number of outstanding shares will increase by a factor of 10. While this does not change the overall market capitalization of the company, it does increase the liquidity of the stock, potentially leading to higher trading volumes. This can make the stock more attractive to investors, as it can be easier to buy or sell shares without significantly affecting the price. So that could be interesting. I don't know. I need to look for actual news to see what might be happening with this too. Lower share price can psychologically make the stock seem more affordable, which might attract, whatever. Options and trading strategies with the share price lower. Options trading strategies become more accessible for instance covered calls. This is probably one of the things. I don't know. I don't know how they're balancing their books with their derivatives, trying to get it to where they get their 2x. I'm imagining the stock split might be a way of trying to address this, but I'll do some research and see if I can confirm whether or not that's true. Potential increased volatility. Stock splits can lead to increased volatility in the short term due to their heightened investor interest in trading activity. No impact on ownership percentage, employee incentives, tax implications. None of this other stuff. This is basically like general news, but I do think that
they're employing. This is more me explaining what's going on because it's
okay. I don't know why that came out. Let's get rid of Rex. But I do think that they might be trying to do, that they might be trying to do something like that to be able to help with the issues that they're having where they're not tracking correctly. I'll do more research and let you know, but that's just an initial glance. There you go.
The biggest story in my world over the weekend is the Truth Social post that we got from President-elect Trump threatening the BRICS about the U.S. dollar. I'm going to go really deep on this. So here's what
the Truth Social post, where it almost, all the viewership happened on X.
But here's what the president-elect says. The idea that the BRIC countries are trying to move away from the dollar while we stand by and watch is over. We require a commitment from these countries that they will neither create a new BRICS currency nor back any other currency to replace the mighty U.S. dollar, or here's where the tariff threat comes. They will.
Yeah, this is boring. I'm just going to skip that. There isn't, again, we know that, right? Like, we know that that's the goal and that's what's going to happen with it. MSTU has definitely lagged MSTX recently, which is funny because like a week ago, it was the opposite. They're both having issues though. They're both having issues with their brokers. They're demanding a lot more from them. So it's making it to where they're having issues just being able to manage it. Let me see real quickly. Oh, I saw something flip by on my pro version of X here, and I wanted to see if I could find it. Yeah, the MicroStrategy tracker. Look at this, guys. Look at the buy percentages. I'm going to pull this up real quick. This is insane. This is just such a big deal. I'm not even following this. I need to follow this. 1 second here, and I'll get it up on my screen. Let me hop over here real fast. I'll just pull it up over here. There we go. 1 second. 1 second. My screen is lagging on this other one, but I want to make sure that I get this in here because this is cool. Right here. Look at this. Look at this. The MicroStrategy tracker. Look at this. Look at the Bitcoin accumulation in Q4 of 2024. Do you think Michael Saylor sees the writing on the wall for what's coming for Bitcoin? Do you think he does? Look at the change in his strategy for accumulating Bitcoin right now. It is a massive, massive amount. Look at that. 150,000 Bitcoin. He is gobbling up the entire fucking market right now. I don't think people realize why, but they will. You'll figure it out, guys. Trust me. All right, let's see what else we have here. Jesse, have you done any more research? No, I don't care about Grab. I'm sure some other people do. Again, I know it's the Everything app in Southeast Asia. I just don't feel very confident on China. Is Grab in China? Or are they just in like Singapore and all the rest of Southeast Asia? Let me see here. It says 10-1 for MSTU. Yep, okay. Why are we dumping again? U.S. data was pretty strong. I don't get it. Poland. Just random shit. Does MSTR literally own a significant percentage? Yes, a huge amount. I mean, they have over 400,000 Bitcoin. There's 21 million. So, yeah. Like what, 4%? Are we getting to 4% yet? Grab's mostly out of China. Oh, okay, so they're not focused on China. I mean, that's going to be better. That's probably going to be better for them, not having a lot of Chinese exposure. So that's good. I mean, the chart has been beat up. And let me just hop over here real quick. I'll pull it up for a second. And then we could look. People are saying, why are we dumping again? Why are we dumping again? I don't know that we are actually dumping. I mean, MicroStrategy's dumping over the short term, but I don't think that matters. The market will do anything over a short increment of time. I would never focus on that. So the forward PE is 78. That's a pretty high number, but there might need to be some recalc there. I like the fact that their debt is dropping for Grab. I like the fact that their assets are growing. Their bond and cash position is growing. They're still diluting shareholders. Revenue growth is good. They're getting a positive net income. I don't know. I probably should care about this one. Whoa, what is going on? My mouse got weird. Estimates, let's see here. Yeah, revenue growth still looks really good. This looks like a decent company. It looks like they're focused on not losing money, maybe not trying to make a large net income right now, but they're focused very much on growth. Short interest is there, but almost non-existent. I mean, outside of the valuation being high, their growth is beautiful, though. You use Grab almost every day for food delivery. Cool. Yeah, their market cap is $19.3 billion. Their enterprise value is 14. Their revenue growth year over year is 16%. I just think the multiple seems a little high, but it doesn't seem like a bad company. GMV per monthly transacting user, that kind of started to fall off from 2021, and now it looks like maybe it's starting to curve up. They've got positive cash flow of $302 million off of $716 million in revenue. That ain't bad. That is not bad at all. I'm in Thailand and use Grab. Yeah. So what government position should Tom get? What? I'm sorry, what? I don't even know what you're talking about, Japan. Are you talking about Tom Lee? All right, let me see here. And thank you, Julian, for the $2. I don't know if I already said that, but I appreciate it. Chuck, I'm just greedy and want to sell 30% of my high-risk bets now to have some money to buy the next market dip. But yeah, just letting my winners run. Yeah, people do get Poland's based. Yes, young investor, they are. I'm not sure why we're talking about Poland, but Poland is great. Yeah. So people I think overtrade too much, and they don't like to hold. People struggle with holding. They're always looking. And here's one of the things that sucks, guys. It's the news, right? The news tells you stuff all the time that's really fucking negative, right? They tell you things that are really, really horrifically negative. And in the process of doing that, it instills a mindset of negativity in people, which is problematic. And so they tell you how the world's coming to an end every day. And when they tell you that the world's coming to an end every day, if you listen to it, you're going to start to believe that. And there's plenty of YouTubers that want to tell you that too. I would get way more clicks if I was doom and gloom. I'd probably be more profitable too, right? But being optimistic right now is not where the money's at. But I mean, if you own Square right now and it's up 7% on the day, you're feeling pretty good. If you own CleanSpark and you're up 5%, you're feeling pretty good. Hell, even Coinbase is up 3.35. Matic's up. Meta's up 2.5. Tesla's up 2.55. Hood's up 2.5. The VIX is up a little bit. So again, we got some volatility out of those numbers. I think that the volatility out of the numbers is a short-term reaction of people being worried that the Fed isn't going to lower rates by 25 bips. In December. I'm actually not worried about that. I think that still happens no matter what, because again, we need to get interest, the interest we're paying on our debt down. And I don't think the Fed is worried about inflation. I know some people are. I think those people are retarded. I don't think inflation is our major concern. If anything, it's deflation. I've been saying that for over a year. And as I've been saying that, you know what's been happening? Inflation's been coming down rapidly. So I'm going to keep saying that until people start to understand it. The market seems to be actually recovering. I don't think it's dumping at all. It looks good to me. Even Mara's recovering, down 4.67% on the day. Joe Tong, Grab is the market leader in Southeast Asia, population 650 million. Definitely a big market. Besides ride hailing, it has food delivery, payments, and virtual banking. Singapore, and it's in Singapore and Malaysia too. We're definitely going into easy money policy again. Yes, I agree. Exactly. I can't read your name. I don't know what language is that even. Is that Korean or is that Chinese? I'm going to say Korean, but fuck, I'm so bad at that stuff. But yeah, I totally agree with you. Whatever your name is, can you say your name? Just so I know, like when you're talking, who you are, and I can say something, because I do not know script very well. Alex Garcia, can we look at ASTS? SpaceX and Elon are involved. SpaceX and Elon are involved. Sure, we can take a quick look. I just want to look at other stuff real quick too. So I'm up today in the market. It says I'm up by 120. I'm up by like 150,000. Most of that appears to be Tesla. Got a little over 1.8 million in Tesla calls again, so that's good. I like it when those are going up. ASTS, yeah, we can look for a second. I'm going to look at the financials first, though. If you guys have something you want to look at, throw it out. I'll probably run for a little bit longer. Again, though, I got other stuff to do. I got to get ready for this other stream later today, and then I just got a busy day ahead of me. Need to get that $7,500 in bond money back for my nephew. Roth Capital raises Tesla price target to 300. I fucking hate this guy. Oh, my God. One second. We got to see this. We'll look at ASTS in a second. Oh, I fucking hate this guy. I fucking hate him. This is so funny. This guy's such a cuck. All right, 1 second. If there is a definition of cuckold, if you guys don't know what that is, look it up. It's this guy right here. And he's raising his price target from $85.
Back to Squawk on the Street. Let's talk a bit of Tesla updated its self-driving software. The stock, as you see, higher this morning, up nearly 40% over the last month. Perhaps one reason why the longtime bear, Craig Irwin, just raised his price target to $380.
This guy's such a little bitch. He raised his price target to $380 from like $85.
And more importantly, upgraded the stock to a buy from a neutral. Craig, I don't know what we're going to do anymore when we look for a Tesla bear and we can't go to you. I mean,
we got Gordon Johnson. Look at this guy. What a dipshit. We got Gordon Johnson, and maybe we see Ross Gerber. Maybe we see Gerber Kawasaki starting to figure shit out. I don't know.
It was tough to be.
This is hilarious. 85 to 380.
Begin with. Why this move? And, you know, what do you say to those who will just cynically point to you and say, well, you know, he's been wrong for so long, he just finally had to throw in the towel?
So what I'm looking at is this quarter is probably the last quarter of relative weakness, right? So, you know, my view is, you know, battery prices gave them the margin upside this last quarter, the prior quarter, and the CFO was very clear about the margin outlook for the fourth quarter. And the stock is responding to the Trump bump. Musk was one of the most passionate and authentic supporters of President Trump, and obviously a very close ally of his. Moving forward, the DOGE, the Government Efficiency Initiative, and all sorts of other things.
The last time I saw this guy trying to justify his short, like why he was so low on the price target, he was sweating and he looked like he was going to pass the fuck out. It is hilarious to see him adjust his price target by $300. $300.
Things position him to play an interesting role in the Trump administration, right? So the last quarter relative weakness, I think now he's got a new pool of buyers, conservatives that might not have looked at EVs quite as closely in the past, that allow an.
Are you just now coming to terms with the fact that conservatives might like Elon Musk? Where the fuck were you during the election in the last, 2 years? Where the fuck were you?
Acceleration of demand in the core U.S. market, right? So that means we're looking at positive estimate revisions, and I'm asking myself, where are the catalysts, right? I don't see very many negative catalysts if estimates are going to positive revisions, and they're abundant positive catalysts. Things are going to look a lot like they did 11, 12, 13 years ago, where they can literally invent their own milestones and knock them down. You know,
invent their own milestones.
The AI initiative, the visibility around EV share gains, all of these, I think, will play to the positive for Tesla. And I think this is something that can be sustained for a couple of years. It's not like it's going to happen over a quarter or two. So
they'll be able to make up some milestones and do all right for a couple of years because of the bullshit they're doing. This guy's such a fucking idiot. What a moron. He raised his price target by $295, right? Is that right? Or over 300? Fuck. This is insane. This guy is insane. This is the kind of value add you get from a lot of CNBC, is stupidity. Tesla showroom. Dude, I've got so many people. I can't even give. Come January, I'm going to get, I think they reset the referral program. I'm going to have to wait until January because I have people every day asking me for a referral code, and I don't have any left. I already went through the 10 that you have in a year. And so I'm going to have a fresh stack at the beginning of the year. Everybody's buying a Tesla right now, guys. Q4 is going to be off the hook. I have no intention on selling my calls. I sold a decent chunk last week to buy more MSTU and MSTX. Regret that a little bit. Probably shouldn't have done that. Probably a little too early on that. But I do think that those will turn out well. I think Bitcoin's going to do well, and I think Tesla's going to do sick. Very excited about Tesla. This guy's a fucking moron. Can you just believe how stupid people are? If you guys haven't had a chance to ride in full self-driving, ask a friend who has a Tesla with full self-driving, or go to a dealer and see if you can get a ride. You have to understand what's coming. You have to understand or you're going to miss out. We've seen enough. I just wanted to mock him for a minute. because it's fun. Did somebody else have a question? There's so many questions. I got to get back here. Missed a bunch of shit. Oh, Roblox. Somebody's talking about Roblox. Oh, and ASTS. We'll do that first, then we'll do Roblox. So ASTS, Space Mobile. Tell me, what does Elon Musk have to do with any of this? Because I see a net income of negative 171 million with a company that made $1 million. I see cash flow of negative 64 million off of a company that made $1 million. I see dilution through the roof. I see their cash growing because you guys are giving it to them. What are their estimates? Massive increases in revenue to potentially 36 million in revenue. If this is true, and it's going to be growing revenue by that margin, that will be helpful. That will be helpful for this stock. It's got a market cap of 7 billion. The enterprise value is 6.7. There's just nothing but redness all around this. And what does the 5-year chart look like? It looks like people bought this shit heavy. That the forward guidance was bought really heavy from like May all the way up till August, where this company went 10x. So it went 10x in valuation. I don't know anything about the company, but they're going to have to really prove a lot, man. They're going to have to prove a lot. I don't like this from here. I don't like investments that have went up 10x in several months. And this is probably just dying its way down to a more reasonable estimate. And that's if they actually hit their guidance and if they start to grow. And even if their revenue increases, are they going to be a profitable company? I don't know. Manufacturing is the hardest part of everything. Anybody can bring in money, but can they make money? Can they make a profit? That is so fucking hard and so far away of increasing revenue. So I don't know enough about this to be able to speak to it more, but I'm not that interested in it, and I don't like to chase stuff. So that's pretty much the input you get on this one. The Roblox, let's look at another shitty company. So here's Roblox. And don't get me wrong, maybe it's gotten better. Let's look. So daily active users, growing all the time. Tons of people on Roblox. 88 million, almost 89 million. Hours engaged, growing. Total bookings, growing. Revenue, growing. Net income, negative $240 million off of $918 million in revenue. Now their free cash flow is going up there. They're diluting shareholders constantly. They've never stopped. Their cash, blah. Their debt, Their operating expenses, really fucking high. I hope this research and development money goes to something good because they're going to need it. I don't like companies that can burn through $240 million off of $918 million in revenue. Maybe they find a niche someday. Estimates show growth, really big Q4. No idea why. But again, they're just going to keep burning money and diluting shareholders. All they do is sell the stock. Insiders, they're just like, hey guys, we printed some more shares. Thank you for buying them, and we sold. Have a good day. Bye. So I don't love this stock at all. If they can start figuring out how to making money, actual money, great. But they don't know how to make a profit, and that sucks. They don't know how to lower their expenses, and that sucks. So I don't like it. RK's killing it. I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised at all. Let's look over at RK. RK is just a precursor of what's going to come for ARKG, in my opinion. XRP is up 18%. We're definitely getting that blow off top. You know what I could do that would be valuable? I'll do this. Let me draw a trend-based extension here so that we can kind of show from the bottom of the last cycle. Let me just do this. Okay, to here. This is where I can provide value, right? I don't know. That might not be perfect. It's probably pretty close. Oh, no. There's a little bit of a wick down. Okay. All right. So there we go. So we're hitting the .786. Could we go higher than that? Yes. Will it be the highest that this thing has ever been in history? Pretty close. 3.36 is the highest ever in history. Could it overshoot this and get to the $5 range? I doubt it. I doubt it. This is crazy high, guys. This is the highest RSI on the weekly time frame that we've seen since January of 2018 for any of you OGs that were around during that time. It could go a little bit higher into the 96. It's already on the weekly time frame, guys. We're at 92. That will not last. That will not last. That will not last. On the monthly time frame, we're at the highest monthly RSI of 83 since December of 2017. Okay. So XRP just looks like a shit show. All right, RK. Let's look at that one. Again, I think this is just a precursor of what's coming for ARKG. It looks beautiful. 2.38%, getting ready to test up to the 200 moving average. Finally finding its bid. Doesn't even start to really hit resistance. Not even, I mean, the .618 is a technical level of resistance, but really from a volume standpoint and just starting to hit some previous price action, we don't even see that until 99. Again, I think this is something that is, I think that this is, because look at all this low volume in here. I mean, the 90s, getting up to the 90s, this range is pretty easy in my opinion. Yeah, that's exciting. Let me see. I'm going to try and roll down through here and see what else you got. Bitcoin is at almost 96.7 right now. So again, it's getting a little bouncy. CleanSpark, somebody said it was up to 7%. Let's see how true that is right now. See if it's changed at all. AVAX still up. Soul Strategy's up. CleanSpark, almost 6. This is a good day. Tesla up 3%. This is a good day, guys. I got no complaints on this day. Let's see what's failing. PayPal up down 0.62%. I think that will come around. I've got to imagine PayPal's going to have a good Q4. People will catch on to that. Mara still down. MSTU down 3.5%. MSTX down 2.2%. What is MSTR actually down? 1%. So both of these are failing to keep up. They're really sucking. MSTU is just shit right now. Just garbage. Just garbage. Let's see. MB, how much is that 85 to 380 jump in percentages? Sorry, which one was that? Oh, God, it's a huge number. Oh, you're talking about that dipshit? It's a huge number. It's a huge number. It's like what, 4x? It's like a 3. Yeah. Something close. It's like a 4x. It's like a 4x. 300+% probably. Chicken Bro, how does this guy get... Yeah, I don't know. All right, so we'll move on from that idiot. Getting down further. ASTS we looked at. They could potentially beat Starlink to the direct cellular. No, I don't see that happening. I mean, Starlink's already doing direct to cellular with multiple cellular companies all around the world. You can already get it through T-Mobile. You're going to get it for more companies. I don't see how they're going to beat them. Their competition is, if their leading thing is that their competition to Starlink and SpaceX, then I am not interested at all. Tyler Casamenti, any thoughts on doing CleanSpark earnings this afternoon with Rex? I don't know. I haven't talked to him about it. I wouldn't care. I'll message him. Proven B, isn't that Starlink cellular? I'll probably do it on his channel, maybe link mine. I don't know. We'll see. If he's interested, I'm down. Isn't Starlink's... Yeah, they can do... Starlink can do direct to cellular already right now. Roy Hernandez. Still? Keep it up, Jesse. I am Grok said Apple all-time high. Cool. This is Sparta says, can you take a look at Square Chart and see what the next price level... It's a ways out. I pulled it up for a second earlier. We actually have a long way to run. The next fib isn't until the 116 range. So this thing's got room to run. That's where it hits the 50 on the monthly. Let's see if there's any weeklies. There is a weekly. The 200 moving average on the weekly is at 110. So, but it's at such a steep downward curve that I think it's going to be pretty easy to break above that and establish positive momentum. I'm not worried about it. SoFi down. SoFi's had such an amazing run. Let's look at SoFi and see where it's at right now. SoFi had such a good run, guys. Like, is it shocking at all that we're hitting resistance right where we had all the previous trading price action before it fell off a cliff? It's not really shocking. But again, there's not a lot of volume anywhere in here. So I think it's still on a run to 21. I think SoFi's going to 21. Let's look at Hood. Let's look at a few others. I haven't went through the list in a while. Hood up 2.45%. I guess I should have been holding some of that. I sold a bunch to get MSTU and MSTX. Seems like I was a little early to that. But next step for Hood is around the 44 range. I think that's very doable. PayPal. PayPal is down 0.69% today, but again, it's had such a good run, guys. PayPal in July was down at the 57 range, and we've gotten as high as almost 90. So I'm not too worried about this. We've had a lot of higher highs. We had another one over here. So if we just drag this down, again, another higher high right there, right? We're just continuing higher highs, higher lows. We got lots of volume here. I think we're just getting ready to start another leg up about 13% to $97. So I think PayPal is going to continue to perform. Very much excited about it. I think I've sold about 25% of my total position on that one. So I'm definitely getting out of my losses on that and looking towards gains for sure, which is awesome. All right, let's keep going. Step into Soul Strategies as an advisor. Anthony Pompliano, interesting. Arcadian, any chance you'll consider MSTR calls? I might have to, because the 2Xs suck so bad, I might have to. So yeah, there's a chance. Delta Trader, with Rocket Lab dipping today, do you think it might be good for, I don't like any of those plays. I know there's the popular retail stuff that everybody wants to talk about, guys, but I don't give a shit about it. Again, let's look at Rocket Lab here from a valuation standpoint based on their finances. They lose money, tons of it. They had a free cash flow of negative 42 million last quarter, where they made 104. The estimates for them are to continue to see their revenue go up. They're competing against SpaceX, somebody who can put up 1,000x, 1,000 times more payload than these guys, at a much lower cost. These guys their debt is growing, their operating expenses are growing, their R&D is having to grow just to compete. They're having to dilute shares like crazy. To me, this is like such a shitty bet. I don't know why people are piling into it. It's because they like losing money. That's what I think it is. It's because this thing was $5 in August 1st, and they'd much rather buy it at $27 than $5. That's my only take on Rocket Lab. It's not going to get much better than that, unless they can figure out how to beat SpaceX, which I don't see happening. Can you chart out MicroStrategy, fibs, etc.? I do that. If you guys are joined on Discord, you literally have access to all that stuff. So you have my chart right there in Discord. Book and tackles. Mara, a buy at these levels? Yeah, probably. Again, it's finding support, guys. If I remember here. Yeah. See, look, it's just back testing this next fib. So broke above it. It's establishing support above it for the first time to try and see if it can find support. Back testing before it tries to run another 78%. That's my take on Mara. Am I buying more here? I'm not right now. Don't kill me. Fubo up 11%. Yeah, Fubo sucks too. They all suck. You guys are really good at picking shit. I mean, I'm just being really rough today. Sorry. But again, I don't like companies that aren't profitable and that are competing against other companies that they stand no chance against. My 2 cents. Can I look at TLT? Yeah, that's a fun one to look at. Let's check it out. Again, this is a play I want at least $500,000 in by the end of the year. That's the goal. Probably won't do options on it, but I will do TLT because I think there's 30% upside. And for a cash play where you're trying to, make sure that you're safe, who doesn't love 30+% upside over a short period of time? I love it. But yeah, this is and I don't have I should probably draw some fibs or something. I should probably draw fibs. The time frame is going to be weird, but I'm going to do a trend-based fib extension. I think we found the bottom, so I should probably do that. And again, guys, when I update charts on here, they go into the Discord as updated too because I saved them. So then this gives you all you need right there. All right, and let me see here. So the great thing about TLT, if people start to trust government debt, is this. Let me just put it right here. Maybe just a hair lower. I'll match that up later and make sure it's perfect. I'm going to go ahead and save the chart real quick so it's in Discord. But here's what I love. The .618, the golden retracement zone, isn't even until 134. So this thing potentially could go up to 145% from where it's at in the next like year, too. Isn't that a great cash position? Can you guys tell me, are there any bonds out there or treasuries that will give you a 40% annual return, a 50% annual return? I can't think of any. So I think this is going to be a great cash position if Doge does what they said. And again, remember Brad Gerstner? Remember what he said? Balanced budget by 2029. I think he's right. Good place to take profits on Hood. I did last week. Yeah, I think 44 would be a good one. What's the valuation on Hood right now? What is their market cap? It's actually 34 billion. I don't think that's crazy because if you look at like Coinbase, what's Coinbase's? I mean, Hood could still do all right for a while, guys. I was just cashing out because I've got like 1,600% upside that I've encountered over a period of time with those guys. So they've got 40% of the market cap of Coinbase. That seems pretty good, doesn't it? And Coinbase will probably have a breakout. They've done really, really good, but I don't think Coinbase is as good of a company as Hood. If I had to own one of the two, it would definitely be Hood. So 44 could be a good profit-taking zone, but it also could just be the next leg higher to 90. So I don't know. I sound like a hypocrite. I wouldn't sell out of this one too quickly. But if you haven't taken profits and this thing, when we retraced back down to the $14 level and had that wicked bounce, and again, that was a perfect retest, right? A perfect retest of this trend line. And I was like, buy. If you haven't taken any profits, it's $14 and you're in options, then you should, I mean, personally, I would be taking some. Fubo, I'm just going to look at this for Fubo, and then we can look at the stock. Well, probably won't. But again, if it's up 11%, I'm happy. It shows we're in a risk-on environment. Is it a good stock to own? Great question. I'm glad you asked. I'm glad you asked if it was a good stock to own, Victor. So let's just look here. Revenues are slightly higher, but the pace of growth appears to be slowing. It appears to be slowing. And then, so let's just look. So that's interesting. So slowing growth, potentially. We do have a lot of insider buying. I like to see that. It's not a huge amount. There was more in 2020, but they do appear to believe in it. Institutional ownership is going up. Short interest is going down. So I hate, based upon just those things alone, I hate this stock less. Okay? I hate it less. Let's look here real quick. What is that? This has got to be broken. United States revenue falls through the floor, but international is really high. That can't be right. These must be data points. These data points are flipped. Alejandro needs to fix that. Average monthly revenue by sub. North America so the United States is a huge part of this. Here's my biggest argument against Fubo. I think it's a dying sector. Who the fuck gives a shit about direct TV like service? I don't care about this. I never watch this. I have streaming services. I have YouTube. That's all I ever need. And I have X. I don't need anything else. And so I think that the demographic that's going to use this is dying. Every day that goes by, there's more people dying that would be interested in this type of service. I know they're good for sports, and I don't remember where the lawsuit is on that. You guys can tell me. But there's so many other services, and YouTube TV could literally just say, hey, we're going to operate at a loss for YouTube TV. We're going to drop the price, 30% for the next year or for the next 6 months to pull people in, and they would just crush. Or we're going to offer sport. Like they could do so many things that would just crush Fubo overnight. There's no moat. There's no moat in the stock, in my opinion. Their debts, their cash is bleeding. They're still diluting shares like fucking crazy. I just think it's trash. I don't think it's good. It's less trashy than it was, but it has no moat, and I wouldn't own it. Roy Hernandez, or am I high? You're obviously high, Roy. I don't know what you said earlier, though, but I'm just going to say you're high. Short it. He. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm going to say you're high. Steve, when are you looking to exit your MSTX? The shorter, the better. I say this all the time. Here's what I want. I want MicroStrategy to go to 1,000 tomorrow, and then I'm fucking out. So if that happens, I'm out. Now, it could take longer than that, and I'd be okay with it. Today, I'm actually up. I'm a wash, actually. It's funny. MSTU, I mean, it's not funny. MicroStrategy flat on the day. No, now MicroStrategy up 0.76 in an instant. That's weird. But it was flat on the day. MSTU is down. MSTX up 1.4%. So neither of them are tracking well. But I'm technically up today on my investment. Well, I shouldn't say that. From the beginning, I'm down. It's sucking. It's definitely sucking. I'm down probably an average of 15%, I want to say, or something on those investments, which blows. I would prefer to make a bunch of money off of them, and I would prefer for them to track better. I'm probably going to end up having to do calls as much as I don't want to. It just doesn't seem like these vehicles are performing the way I want them to. But it could get better. You never know. You never know. All right, let me see here. BTC looks like it wants to test 98. I agree. Again, it's finding support. It's showing a lot of strength. And the economic data we got today for the United States looks great. My 2 cents. All right, let me look. I'm going to jump back over here. We'll let this thing grind for a little bit on the watch list. Actually, let me do this. I'm going to pull up the heat map again. Heat map. How we looking, heat map? Tesla's still strong. Amazon looking good. Ooh, the Magnificent Seven. My friend Seth is right so far. They're starting to show leadership again. Finance actually taking a hit. That's probably why SoFi's down a little bit. A lot of small caps taking a hit today. So the smalls are taking the hit. I think the reason we're seeing this is I think people are expecting rates to come down slower. So I think they're starting to discount a 25 bip rate cut in December. I think they're wrong. I think we're still getting it. But I think for that reason, maybe we're seeing the market come back down a little bit more. Do you guys have any other reasons? Do you see anything out there that tells us why this should be happening? Why small caps should be underperforming and why mega caps should be doing better? I think it's that reason, but we'll see. Cardano up 242% in a month. That is the shittiest coin too. But hey, dude, I say this all the time. All boats float. Even the shit. Welcome to crypto. Welcome to Bitcoin miners. Welcome to markets in general. The GameStops of the world. All the stupid shit that people get excited about. They're like, oh, see, Cardano is amazing. I told you it was, guys. It went up 242% in a month. It's like, oh, okay. And it hasn't just been a shit investment for a long time, and that's why it finally went up, because all boats float. Let's just look at Cardano real quickly. Let's look at this piece of trash. This is the same guy who recently, Hoskins, said that Cardano is going to surpass Bitcoin in the future. That's how arrogant and stupid this piece of shit is. So, yes, it's went up, and now it's hit resistance. And so everybody that's jumping in right here is probably going to get fucked. You're probably going to get fucked. And this investment sucks. I could go back even further, but, like, it's a dead coin. It's a dead coin. Up until November this month, this thing was dead. Completely dead. No interest whatsoever. All that's happening right now are quants and morons are buying it because number go up. I would not jump in here. I would not own. I probably own some XRP just because I forgot to sell it. So yeah, I probably have some. I might even have some ADA. I don't care. It's trash. Yeah. And I can call it trash, whether I own it or not, because it is trash. Shale, can you take a look at Bivy? Says, I am Grok. I don't know what Bivy is. What is a Bivy? Anybody tell me what a Bivy is? BioVi. This is probably going to be something I hate too. You guys love giving me shit. So no revenue whatsoever. Nice. I don't know what I can look at here. They're making no money. They have been buying their own stock. So insiders seem to believe in what they have. Institutional ownership jumped a lot in Q1. Short interest jumped a lot. Their estimates are non-existent. You're basically just feeding them money. So you're just giving money away every quarter. to a company that has no revenue and they're burning $3.6 million in free cash flow. This is one where I'd rather own something like ARKG, because then if one of them does okay, you make a bunch of money. But like this is just like, if you like gambling, then Bibby is great. If you like gambling, or if you're an insider and you know they've got some amazing thing that's coming out in the pipeline, then have your brother, actually probably a distant family member, buy it, and then they can just give you money later. But outside of that, why would you own this? Like, what's the financial reason for owning something that doesn't know how to make money? RX. Hey, they got revenue. That's fucking progress. They also diluted the shit out of their shares. They went from 242 million to 282. So, wow. Their cash flow, let's see. Their cash flow is negative 60 million off of 26 million in revenue. Their net income was negative 96 million off of 26 million in revenue. So these guys are efficient at losing money. They're really good at it. And their guidance says that they're going to lose more money per share, which takes talent. They had like that brief good quarter. Oh, it's going to get worse. The revenues are going down. Short interest is increasing. It's almost 30%. Institutions are buying. I have no idea why. Again, this is probably just one of those plays where it's just like a part of the pool where it's like a video lottery for the institutions. They're like, hey, we'll invest in a bunch of shitty pharmaceutical and bio companies, and if one of them ends up turning out all right, we got our return for the year. So again, why own this shit? I don't know, unless you're an insider. Roy Hernandez, like XRP 50 cents a month ago, now almost 6x. Yeah, it's a great reason to sell it. Victor Hernandez, I know. Sorry. Paul Hoger, can you look at Honest and LRCX? Yeah, sure. We can look at Honest. What was their guidance again? Did it get better? I thought it did. I mean, it's slow growth. Getting closer to positive EPS. They've been insider selling more recently instead of buying. Institutional ownership starting to tick up after the last year. Short interest non-existent. So nothing you want to short. Seeing some growth. Operating leverage getting a little better. I don't know. These kind of companies just kind of bore the shit out of me. Their forward PE is 0.77. Either that's a miscalculation. Whoa, what is going on? All commodity volume. They must have stopped reporting on this, or something's broken. So I need to talk to... maybe they're not putting out digital retail in all commodity volumes anymore. They do have positive cash flow of 15 million off of 99 million in revenue. Why is it getting cold in here again? Is my heat not working? Mother fudger. All right, we'll see if that updates. I don't fucking know anymore. Let's see. I'm going to try. I've got two phones in front of me. Isn't that ridiculous? I bought another phone. So I bought this phone. I bought this phone, right? This is the Galaxy S24 something. I don't even know. But then I realized I don't like it, so I still have it. But now I bought this phone. So I got my Fold now. So if anybody wants a 24 Ultra, let me know. Because I just got it sitting around for no apparent reason. Normally I'm not that crazy, but I just really wanted my Fold back. And I hated the Google Pixel Fold. It just sucked. Yeah, so share dilution. I don't know. What is their growth? 15%. I don't know. I don't know how to value this company. I don't know it well. I don't love the specialty retail space right now, and I just don't know where it's going. I could look at the technicals here, maybe. I don't know. I think I'm almost wrapping up. What time is it? Almost 10. Okay. TLT chart is on Discord. Yes, all the charts, guys, are on Discord. If there's anything that's not on it, put it in the request list. I do have to go through that again. I didn't do it this last weekend. Have I revisited sound lately? No, I have not. I could take a look at it for 2 seconds. Eli Waves, Wall Street Journal just did a story on the MicroStrategy 2X ETF, said they've been off because they haven't been able to get the amount of swaps. Yeah, it's the derivative market that they're struggling with. And then they've had to use options because of this. Yeah, I know. I read that. I think I posted that last week. They'll likely stay out of whack if they can't get the supply of swaps they need by the sounds of it. I think they will get the supply of swaps. But yeah, it's definitely hurting the 2X market for these guys. It's definitely hurting it. It's not a good selling point, that's for sure. Are you switching to Hood shares at all? I don't actually have Hood like hardly at all anymore. I sold my options last week to buy MSTU and MSTX. Has not been a great decision so far. Still down on them, down probably about 13% in total. We'll see though. I think that's going to change. Sound. Okay, so I can look at Sound AI. I don't like the fact that they just like have AI in their name. Are they getting better? Are revenue estimates going up? Revenue is looking good. Nice growth, up to 38 million in 3 quarters. Negative EPS, negative EBIT. Let's see, volume extended. We're seeing institutional ownership growing a lot. Short interest is very high at 25%. It's very high. It's very high percentage of float. It could cause the stock to go up a little bit in the short term. United States revenue growth, very high for these guys. I don't know why. I don't know anything about the fundamentals of this company. You guys would have to tell me. Service subscription growth appears to be happening a lot. What is the service subscription? What does Sound do? What does Sound do? Why is it an AI company? You guys tell me. Let me see. Read about info. Is a leading innovator in voice-enabled AI and conversational intelligence technologies, offering solutions that enable users to interact with products and services using natural language. Their advanced technology is designed to understand, analyze, and respond to human speech, enhancing user experience. So I don't know anything about it outside of that. Yeah, voice recognition. But is that a commoditizable market? Or is that just going to be a basic service? To me, it seems like a basic service. They got 25 million in revenue. Net income is negative 21. Free cash flow is negative $35 million. So again, just another loser. Their service is doing all right. Can it continue to do all right? I'm assuming that they're putting a lot into R&D and G&A. Like G&A and S&M, I would assume they could get their costs down if they're, I don't know. This doesn't look interesting to me at all. I don't like companies that lose money, guys. I don't know that's why everybody's like, hey, look at the companies that are losing money. Check this one out. It's lost even more than the last one you looked at. I have a large Hood position. Cool. Congrats. I think Hood's a good company. Proven B, OS, OneStream. Is this going to be another fucking loser of a stock? You guys are pissing me off today. All right, let me see here. Let's see. OneStream. Do I have to tie it? How big is this one? Is it going to appear on here? I don't even know if I can pull this up. I don't see it. Probably going to skip this one. If I can't pull up the financials, I could look at them on a trading view, but I don't really want to right now. BTC looks like it wants to go to 98. I agree. Riot, no good. Yep. Gnome Whitman, BTC recovering nicely. Yes. Matthew Purdy. Jesse, can we touch on Eura? I have a comment. It's Discord. It's Discord channel. I'm 2712 calls at $36. Yeah, we can try and take a look at the Discord and see what you say about it. Let me close this real quick. Let me do some stuff here. Where's my search? Oh, there we go. Let me just do this. I'll do TLT. There we go. TLT. Let me see. All right. So what's your comment? What are you in here? Matthew Purdy. Matthew. Let me see. You must be down. I wish it would sort by most recent. Why wouldn't it do that? Where is yours? Jeez, a lot of comments in here. These are older, though. Is this where you were at? Let me check that. Is this where the chart is? Am I in the right place? No, there is no TLT in here. Why don't I have TLT? I need to put TLT in here. I could pull up TLT. What was your comment, though, man? The iShares bond ETF is on my list of things to understand better for the next time. It may prove to be an opportunity. Did anyone besides Jesse use it recently? Looks like just me. All right, let me jump over. I'll look at TLT from here, and then I'll get it added. I'll just do it real quick. Because there's no reason why I shouldn't have TLT in there. Unless I got a duplicated channel or something. I don't know. It's weird. Oh, you said uranium. Why the fuck am I pulling up? All right, so let me do this real quick. I need to put TLT in here. Let me do that. Oh, I don't even have it shared. Okay, copy link. Let me put TLT in the Discord, and then I'll look at Eura. Real quickly here. Boom. All right, get that in there. Get rid of this embed. Pin this. All right, so again, I got more work to do, guys. Okay, so that's in there. So let's look up euro. Let's see, uranium. Oh, it's under a channel that says uranium. I don't know if I created that one. Might be somebody else. All right, let's get down here. Derek has been diving into this lately. He posted this. Yeah, he loves uranium. Let's see, where was your comment, though? Let me pull this up. 10 memberships. Thank you very much, Victor, for that. So we rejected at the .618. That is the golden retracement zone. This is just uranium, though. This isn't Euro. So somebody else must have put this one in. I will pull up Euro too. So this is just the core commodity, which is great. Whoever did that, it's probably Matthew or somebody. Thank you for doing it. Let's look here. I'll do Euro 2. And if Euro isn't in there, I'll add it. So this is the ETF. Again, this rejection is a little bit different. This one rejected at the .382. It looks like it wants to break out higher to 37. But I also don't know where the uranium sector sits right now. I don't understand it well enough to be able to say this is going to do really good. What does the uranium ETF own? Is it mostly like, I mean, God, it's going to, is it just the underlying commodity that it's tracking, or is it service too? I don't know. Derek told everyone he was buying tons at 140 to 145 January 2025 calls a year ago. They went down 99%. Yeah, I was with him on PayPal January 2025 too, and they absolutely got fucked. I don't know that I feel super optimistic about uranium. It's had a good run. And there's going to be a lot of infrastructure that's built out. But is the demand for uranium going to skyrocket? When I look at it this way. Let me just say this. Banana was pumping Bivy. I don't know what that means, though. I mean, Bananas seems to be all right on some of the stuff he posts, but why is he pumping Bivy? I need to know reasons. But yeah, it's went up 353%. I look at it this way. Do you think this does really well in Drill Baby Drill? Do you think it does? Mad at Move. Hey, thank you for the $6. Mad at Moves. Appreciate you. I don't know if you had a request in there at all, but thank you very much for the 6. Oh, and then you got another one here for 250. Oh, and you said to look at Toast. Yeah, we could look at Toast. TOST. So I'm not excited about uranium, guys. I mean, why? With Drill Baby Drill, are we going to be looking to convert to nuclear a lot? I mean, there are going to be companies that are. I do believe that there's going to be a push towards nuclear. But does that mean that this commodity is going to explode higher? I mean, if we go to nuclear war, it probably is. But I don't know otherwise. I don't know. All right, let me see here. TOST. TOST. Yeah, this is Toast. So let's see how this one did. Uranium will explode. The question is just when. We're in such a massive deficit, especially with all the energy demand. Yeah, but energy demand doesn't have to come from uranium. It can come from solar. It can come from wind energy. It can come from oil. It can come from gas. Hell, it can come from coal. Look at Germany. So I think, and again, if Trump is dropping energy prices by 50%, guys, that doesn't benefit uranium at all. At all. You know why? Nuclear reactors don't spin up in 3 months. They don't spin up in a week. They don't. And he's saying that he's going to drop energy prices by 50%. If he's doing that, I don't see that benefiting the nuclear sector at all. At all. I'm just throwing out my 2 cents. Wow, quite the move on Toast, guys. Hell of a breakout. Look at this. This .786 zone. Look at that. Resistance. Got above it for a second. Couldn't do it. Got above it for a second. Couldn't do it. Broke above it. Never fucking looked back. Exploded higher. What a great stock. That is just beautiful. I haven't looked at this one in ages. I am a little worried on the weekly that this thing was at 81. So I think it's been a high flyer. I don't know that I'd be interested right here in it, but what are the financials? Because again, it's just done so well, right? It got, on the monthly time frame, it got almost to overbought conditions around 70. This doesn't mean it can't go higher. Let's look at the financials. This is actually an interesting one, though. The stock looks really, really amazing, at least the price. And it's got actual fundamentals behind it. Let's look at the estimates here. So revenue growing at a nice clip, continuing to grow. EPS continuing to grow. I almost bought calls on this one. I wish I would have a long time ago. It's one of those things where you don't sometimes and you miss out. No real insider activity to speak of since 2021, where there were more sellers than buyers. Institutional ownership growing. Short interest not that great. Let's look at other key charts. So they have some areas of the business that are losing them money. It's the total hardware and professional that's losing them money. Everything else is profit generating. Look at the operating leverage here. I love this kind of chart, guys. This company, this looks great. Forward PE is 53. It's still rich right now. So I could see that dropping down into maybe even the 30s or 40s. So I don't love that. But the growth is beautiful. And positive free cash flow is beautiful. Even if it's only 97 million out of what in revenue? 1.3 billion. But they're diluting shareholders. I don't love that. But this is a good company. No debt. 511 million in bonds, 761 in cash. I mean, this looks like a well-run company that deserved that stock pump. So I don't hate it. This is the first one. I mean, this is a decent one. Can you look at Shark Ninja? Seems to have had a great Black Friday. Are they an actual stock? Which is good to add now, MSTU. I mean, MSTX appears to be tracking better. So I'm going to say MSTX. Just because it's been tracking better. But they take turns at sucking. They both have kind of sucked. And I've got like 1.4 million in them, so I'm a little disappointed. Let me see here. Shark Ninja. You know what? I said I was going to stop. I might stop. I'll take a look and see if Shark is on this list. No, I can't even find it. I've got one of their vacuum cleaners and I like it. There's my answer. I think I just pulled out. My glasses just pulled out one of my eyebrow hairs. What the fuck? Can you look at LRCX? Somebody did ask for that earlier, so I am going to pull that up. Yeah, so Toast is a lot better, but again, I think it could drop back down. So that's probably the big thing with Toast, guys, wherever I had that in here, is that this thing could, wherever the fuck it is, I don't even know anymore. It could drop down. It could drop down because it's had a great run. All right, let me save this ADA one. Let's go over here. I've got to add a bunch of charts to the Discord. I really have been too far behind and not doing enough. And then I need to get that shit over to the architect. SN. Okay, I can take a look. Give me a sec. All right, so I got to redraw this because this thing just kept falling lower. So this is Lam Research. Is this a chip company? I thought they were. Lots of dividends. Had a good run. Let's look at financials. LRCX. I mean, starting to grow revenue again. Kind of failed for a while there. Activity, is there anything crazy? Not too much. Short interest is going up, but it's only 3%. Institutions don't seem to care about this company. Their foundry business is making more. Their memory is starting to fall off. Their integrated devices is climbing. Their cash flow is good-ish. 1.45 billion in cash flow off of 4.16 billion. So this is definitely a very developed company. They're buying back their stock. They should probably be buying Bitcoin. Their cash is going up. Their debts are going down. The forward PE is a little rich at 20 for a company that isn't. I mean, technically they are experiencing growth. So if their growth continues at this clip, it just had that falling off a cliff moment in 2022. Was that during the chip shortage? I can't remember exactly when that was. But it does look like it's growing. It doesn't look like a horrible company. Doesn't look like a horrible company. For the semiconductor space, probably decent. I don't know. Probably decent. And again, it's got some bounce, at least from a technical perspective, maybe up to 90 or something, but it is a pretty highly valued company too. Let's see if I can pull up Shark Ninja on here, and then I'm probably calling it after that, guys. I'm calling it. Is it still going to pull? I still don't get it. I don't get it under here for the financials. And I don't want to look it up on TradingView. So I'm sorry. New update on Hood. You can now pick which shares you want to sell. What do you mean? Like an older stack or a newer stack for like tax loss harvesting and shit? Banana stock says goes to $12 for Bivy. Okay. I'm not like, I don't know. I don't know how he's valuing that. Roy Hernandez, energy stocks other than Tesla. I'm not really interested in any. Adam Gamblin, can you take a look at Rigetti Computing, RGTI? I'm probably going to have to do some of these later, guys. I think I'm pretty spent. Really appreciate everything. VRP, yeah, visible range volume profile is the volume on the right that you can see right now. And we are trying to push up towards 98. That's beautiful. And that is 1,000 for the row length if you go into the settings. Nice, going to break out. And Trump, Israel, catalyst. William, I hate to do this because you just tipped, but I am done. So remind me that you tip me next time, and I can take a look at it. Maybe if we have time this afternoon when we're doing the CleanSpark earnings, we could take a look at it maybe. Mike and Andrea. Let's see, what were you guys talking about? Mike said, oh, yeah, okay, cool. So you gave him the information. Thanks, dude. And I believe there's still an offer too, guys. You need to have, I don't think they have it in the free package for TradingView, the visible range volume profile. I think you have to pay for at least the lowest service. They are still running a sale. It's 70% off. So if you guys want, you should probably look at that sale. And I can just confirm here real quick. So the essential is $126 for 13 months. That's $10 a month. And I think they do a monthly too, but you get a 30% discount. Premium is discounted by 70%. So for less than $17 a year, you can get the one free month. That's awesome. I mean, I've already still got like a year left of mine, so I really don't care. But again, the sale expires in 2 days. So there's some pretty good discounts they have running there. So if you guys are interested, you should check them out. Otherwise, though, I think I'm done, guys. We looked at a lot of stuff. I think today's going to be a good day. I think today's going to be a good day. We'll see how things are sitting. Let's see here. Soul Strategy still doing all right. CleanSpark doing all right. Square doing all right. Bit Digital looks like it's getting a bounce. Hood doing all right. Tesla doing all right. It looks like a decent day. I expect more upside in markets. Love you guys. I will talk to you later, and I hope you have a great day. Peace out.